Past all of them as well. What a move for the 48. Oh, look at this. And onto the straight they come.
Brilliant move there from the number 40 to make it through. That left-hander sliding up the inside, going up now over Hawthorne Hill, down Pilgrim's Drop, and it's brilliant stuff here at Brands Hatch.
It's official, it's season finale time as we take the championship showdown to Kent and to West Kingstown and to one of the most historic and recognisable circuits in the United Kingdom. At the end of the night, we will crown two new champions, one here in the UK Formula 4 1600s and one in the British Formula 4 Esports Championship. We're strapped in and ready to go. It's myself, Lewis McLean, it's Cameron Roger once again alongside, and we are ready. It is championship week. It is fantastic. We've got two decent championships to talk about, one which seems fairly favourable and the other one is wide open.
Yeah, absolutely. It is going to be a little bit more set here in the 1600s, but when we get to the British Formula 4 Esports, it is going to be so tight and every single position is going to count tonight. So the racing is going to be frantic and is on a pretty tight track out there, so it's not going to be easy.
It's a brutal track and one that brings in an awful lot of mistakes, isn't it? It's one that you've got to navigate well, and I think, generally speaking, it'll be a key feature across the evening. You've got to qualify well. Qualifying coming up in a few moments' time for the UK Formula 4 1600s. Then we'll have the opening race of the night. 4 races across this evening, of course. One to start us in about 15 minutes' time. Then we'll have the reverse grid race. Of course, that will be the decisive factor to see if Crofton Woodhatch can become the champion of the UK Formula 4 1600. Then, of course, after that, we'll move on to the British Formula 4 Esports Championship and see the battle between Remy Gilbert and Henry Moore. This is the season. This is where we've been. Of course, unlike a couple of seasons ago where we came to Brands Hatch twice with the Indy and the Grand Prix layout, we only come here one time to end out the season. This ends a 3-round leg to crown out our champion that not kill Zandvoort and Brands Hatch. Of course, the journey that we've been on through Donington Park, Thruxton and such, it's been a tricky journey for a lot of these drivers. A reminder as to what they're playing for here in the UK Formula 4 1600s. The top 2 drivers in the championship will receive 2 fully funded entries into the 2026 British Formula 4 Esports Championship. And of course, the winning driver will also receive the Hoisting World Ultimate Plus Black 3-pedal set. Second place driver will get the Sprint 3-pedal set, and the third place driver getting the Sprint 2-pedal set. And of course, the top 3 drivers will all receive a named trophy. This is how the points stand. This takes into account 2 full drop scores. Crofton Woodhatch 366 points, 341 for Hayden Bramley, 319 for Jaden Sherwood. Matt Kendall on 295, Dylan McClements 292, Timu Milakangis only a couple of points behind. Very tight fight there for 4th in the standings, with Sam Sanders only a couple of points behind. Then it's a bit of a big gap to Charlie Summers, Brandon Loudon and Jamie Hopper, the top 10. Cam, I did send you a message a little bit earlier on in the evening to roll through some of the calculations here. If Crofton Woodhatch doesn't score this evening, if he retires from both races, it seems like it's really close. But of course, you have to overcome effectively the drop scores, and so he would actually technically score 40. I think it's 42 points, which means that if Hayden Bramley is to be the champion this evening, Crofton Woodhatch must score 0 points from race 1 and race 2. He could score a couple, but we'll get down that road. If Crofton Woodhatch doesn't score, Hayden Bramley needs to get a 1st and a 6th to score 69 points, which is what he's aiming for to overtake Woodhatch in the points and, of course, beat his drop score. It's all very complicated.
Yes, and he's only done better than that in 2 of the 7 rounds so far. So it's unlikely for Bramley, both in terms of the fact that let's be honest, Woodhatch isn't going to get a 0-0, and then Bramley would have to be, you know, in his top 3 results of the whole season to get there. So it is a little bit more tricky, but you never know what's going to happen. Woodhatch, he won 5 races on the bounce in the mid part of the season. Everyone was praising him, and then in the last 3 races, both at Zandvoort and the sprint race at Knockhill, he hasn't even got on the podium. So that is how things can change around very quickly.
Now, if he wins this first race here this evening, obviously we've still got qualifying to deal with. If he wins the first race, that actually makes things a little bit easier for Crofton Woodhatch. His drop scores at the moment are 42 and 43. Now, so if he wins the race, which is 45 points, he would then effectively not drop this round. He needs to score more than 43 points to not drop this round. The fact that his drop scores are 42 and 43 is very helpful here, which is why if he is to score no points this evening, effectively he would score 43 points, because this would then become his drop score. So again, all complicated. One person though to help him out. He's got a race engineer this round, Cam. And his race engineer for Crofton Woodhatch is one Mr. Mark Fletcher, who of course was the 2024 UK Formula Ford 1600 champion. So he knows how to get it done in this championship. Someone who I've bumped into a couple of times, including here at Brands Hatch this year. Obviously a great driver in his own right, and someone who does engineering and stuff in a couple of club championships in the UK. He's a busy man throughout the year. It's why he's not taking part in the British Formula 4 Esports Championship, but good to see him at least engineering and helping out here for Crofton.
Oh, absolutely. That is going to be a big help, because I guess quite a few of the drivers will at least be talking to someone, but to have someone who's not in the race watching over you in itself is going to be a big help. But having, you know, the champion of last year, that is just going to be so much help for him. So I'm really looking forward to if he is able to really overcome that and overcome the pressures and come out and deliver. He's already had so many pole positions this season. He knows exactly how to get it done, but is he going to be able to get another one? In fact, he's got all but one. He's got 6 out of the 7 races so far, and getting another pole position today would certainly take a lot of pressure off his shoulders.
Yeah, 4 on the bounce for Crofton Woodhatch, and his average starting position this season is 1.5, which is absolutely ridiculous. Hayden Bramley, his main championship rivals, but on the front row 4 times, including a pole position at obviously the only round that Crofton didn't get one, which was back in Snetterton. His average starting position is 4.7, mostly courtesy of the 17th place start from Knockhill, where he had a penalty. There is a look at the steely-eyed determination of Crofton Woodhatch, ready to drag his way around the circuit, aiming to take a 7th pole position. Unfortunately, I don't have the statistics as to how many poles, at least not handy on me. I might have to go and have a little look, see if I can find it in the old stats book, as to how many poles Henry Moore had on his way to the championship. Because we were talking about that in the season finale, because he already wrapped up the title. This is back in 2023, as to whether he was actually going to start. I think he did once again qualifying pole position for this round. Absolutely ridiculous season that was from Henry Moore, of course, is in title contention in our British Formula 4 Esports Championship. Hayden Brownlee's on a lap though, Cam. 3.9 kilometres around the Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit. Take us through it.
So already through Paddock Hill Bend, very fast opening corner, goes downhill, back up in towards Druids. A good overtaking opportunity with biggest braking zone on the track. You then come down, open up to the right-hand side for Graham Hill Bend, which is a lot faster than you might first imagine, especially as you can use all of that curb on the outside. You've got a short straight here, where if someone gets a bad run, you can have a bit of a send down the inside in towards Surtees, and then you work your way onto the GP loop. This is the longest straight. We work our way through a little kink, then down Pilgrim's Drop. You can get a lot of slipstream here, but it is very risky to go side by side. It's a very narrow track up here on the GP loop. We go into Hawthorne Bend, very fast, barely a downshift in these cars before you work your way out into a string of right-handed corners. They get tighter and tighter in towards Westfield. A big curb there on the inside and outside once again, but basically straighten as much as you can to use all of the speed. Just nudge the grass as you work your way up into Sheen's, cut all over the inside there. That is the fastest way through, and then you work your way into a left-handed corner. This is Sterling's, again a half overtaking opportunity if you can think about it down the inside, and then you get the run up towards the final corner. And this is so important, because if you get a bad run here, you can lose a lot of momentum through the final corner, through Clayways, through Clark, and out onto the start-finish straight. It's already a 32.6 for McClements. What is it going to be for Brownlee? Is he going to be able to put himself up there towards the front? It's a 32.4. That's looking good for now.
I have found it, by the way, as to Henry Moore's average qualifying position across the season, excluding the final round, because obviously we never input that data because we're lazy. He had 5 pole positions, not 6, so Crofton's out-qualified Henry Moore, technically, on that stat, and his average start would be 1.6. So Crofton Woodhatch is doing better than Henry Moore. So we can throw that one out there, but can he seal the title? At the moment, across the line, 0.03 of a second down on Hayden Bramley. Do remember, they do get 4 laps across this qualifying session. So 1 ticked off for Bramley, 1 ticked off for Woodhatch. Jaden Sherwood as well, solid qualifying for someone who's not particularly comfortable when it comes to the qualifying session, it seems, across the season. Someone who we know is a quality competitor in this championship when it comes to battling up there in the championship race and stuff. His average starting position is 10.3.
Wow. Yeah, that is, considering he was leading the championship at 1 point, that's certainly not what the stat that he would have wanted. But he races very well, and at the end of the day, the races is where you score the points. And especially in some of the reverse grids, he's been able to work his way forward very nicely indeed. So, yeah, solid driver is Jaden Sherwood. Already got the 1 win to his name. He's got quite a few additional podiums, 6 in total, which, considering that Woodhatch has got 8, for Sherwood to have 6, that just proves how good he's been.
Certainly does. Well, into the likes of Dingledale, which is incredibly committed and so fast through Sheen. Now into Sterling's in this final run down clearways into the final turn down towards the last flick through the right hander. Dylan McClements retakes over the top position, 32.289 into the right hand corner at the end of the circuit through clearways and back out onto the banked and tricky start-finish straight where they'll all be having to try and launch the cars off in a few moments' time for race number 1. Woodhatch across the line and once again moves his way to a very familiar position here in the UK Formula Ford 1600s. Woodhatch takes over the top position.
And that is a crucial 1/10 of a second as well. Not many places where you slow down on this track. Is a very high-speed circuit, and therefore the lap times are always a lot closer at the more medium-speed circuits. Is the stop-start kind of tracks where you see the big gaps open up. There's a lot of time in those corners, whereas here everyone is going, 5th gear through all these corners. Not many places where you can lose time. McClements, who's getting better and better as the season goes on. He's had 3 podiums in the last 3 races, including a win at the reverse grid race at Knockhill as well. He's got 4 podiums, in fact, in the last 6 races. He's coming on really strong. 2 wins on the season. Off onto the grass. Going to be losing some momentum, but he's coming to start another lap.
I was going to say that might also have been wide enough to have counted as an off track, so across the line, that one's not going to count. It's not fast enough anyway. 32.6 there for Dylan McClements, who sits second in this session. Hayden Bramley drops down a couple of spots courtesy of Sanders and Kendall, and across the line, he's going to retake over the provisional pole position, 0.03 of a second ahead of Crofton Woodhatch. Hayden Bramley back towards the top of the qualifying session. Can Crofton Woodhatch find a way past? I think he's he's about to complete another lap into the final corner. He goes 0.03 of a second to try and close up. Bramley currently holding on to the top step of this qualifying session, currently holding on to pole position. Crofton Woodhatch across the line. A 141's good enough to go to the top once more.
What insane back-to-back laps there. Just a couple of hundredths of a second between them, but it's enough to leapfrog Hayden Bramley. So 2 championship rivals at the front. That is what we want to see. And look how close this qualifying session is as well. 0.3 for the top 7 drivers. I mean, it's half a second really for the top 10. It is so close out there, and you've got to be racing so hard to get every last little bit out of the car. Still enough time for Bramley to retake that pole position, and that'll be so crucial because then he has half an opportunity of keeping Woodhatch behind. You don't want to let him get away at the front.
I would say, by the way, for Hayden Bramley, even if Crofton Woodhatch either scores poorly or doesn't score at all, basically if he scores less than 43 points this evening, Hayden Bramley, obviously I said 1st and 6th, other results that could work in his favour, 3rd and a 3rd, basically a double podium would be enough, but a 3rd and a 4th would not be. That is how tight it is on the points, and that is how good of a round Hayden Bramley really needs here. Can he find his way back up onto the provisional pole position? Sanders and Kendall once again improve. Hayden Bramley across the line. It's not good enough to go onto pole position, and Crofton Woodhatch seems almost certain to take his 7th pole position in 8 races. Absolutely incredible. Sherwood across the line only to 6th.
5 drivers within a tenth of a second at the front of the field. It is so close here, hotting up for the season finale. Charlie Summers gets inside that as well. 6 drivers within a tenth at the front of the field. This is awesome stuff as the final laps come in with less than 90 seconds to go. Woodhatch is still out there with Morel, basically everyone else in the pit lane.
Crofton Woodhatch has just improved 32.068 to basically put a hand on the trophy straight away to the top once more, and comfortably so. An incredible season of qualifying coming in from Crofton Woodhatch as he seems set for the potential race towards the title. But imagine what his heart rate is like in that car at the moment. He's done the work here in qualifying once again though, and just seems to really piece that session together once more. It's absolutely incredible, his starting positions once more. I mean, 1.5 as an average coming into this is incredible. Again, it's slightly better than even Henry Moore back in his championship winning season. It will remain at 1.5, but Cam, 7 podiums in 8 qualifying sessions is kind of a joke.
I mean, that's just pure domination, isn't it? There's no other way of saying it. He is the quickest driver in this car, and to be honest, he should be winning this championship today. If he somehow, has a double DNF, that would just be a big shame to open up the door for him potentially to lose the championship, because he has been the best one. Let's see the final grid of the season.
Indeed, for the 7th time then, it will be Crofton Woodhatch on pole position. Joining him on the front row for the 5th time is his closest championship rival with Hayden Bramley. Sam Sanders is in the fight for 3rd and 4th in the championship. Will start from 3rd place alongside some of his rivals. Matt Kendall in 4th position, Charlie Summers in 5th, Dylan McClements, who's on incredible form at the moment, 3 consecutive podiums to this point. Jaden Sherwood, 7th position for him. Jonathan Smith in 8th position with Rebecca Morel inside the top 10. Wan Shi Lin will start from 10th position. Once again, I think it's his 3rd top 10 start. Timu Miller-Kangis in 11th, our most recent winner in this championship. Mark Winter will start from 12th with Brandon Loudon, Isaac Gade, Pedro Dovenbow and Mario Ras. The 16-car field. For Rebecca Morel, by the way, give a shout out. It's her first top 10 start of 2025 here in the UK Formula Ford 1600, which is, to be fair, from an average position, it's qualified fairly well, but to end the season on a high, at least in qualifying, pretty impressive.
Well, exactly, and also having her best round of the season with a double 8th place finish back at Zandvoort. So, looking good, and actually 5 good points finishes in the last 6 races. So coming on strong as the season comes to an end. Let's see what she can do with 2 final races here today at Brands Hatch. Is certainly getting very close out there on the grid, and let's see what Woodhatch can do from the pole.
Don't worry, Cam, I'm not going to ask for your predictions, certainly not here, not in the title race or anything like that, because we're just going to jump straight into it. We've got 15 minutes onto the clock in a tricky run on championship night here in the UK Formula Ford 1600s. It is our championship leader, Crofton Woodhatch, starting from pole position. It's his main rival, Hayden Bramley, starting alongside. Bramley seemed to have a slightly better launch up the hill, but he's got the outside as they work their way through Paddock Hill Bend, and Woodhatch will be able to hang on to the race lead. See if he goes defensive here up towards Druids. Charlie Summers was looking over the rear end of Matt Kendall, and Hayden Bramley unable to find his way ahead of Crofton Woodhatch at the moment. They work their way down the hill into Graham Hill Bend, and so side by side as Dylan McClements is getting aggressive here to try and take 4th position away from Matt Kendall.
And that is going to be Charlie Summers getting the run. No, actually didn't go for it up the inside into towards 30, so I thought he might do so. And he's just going to back it and get in line. Sherwood there in 7th place as well. So it's actually an 8-car breakaway at the front with Jonathan Smith. They just made a slight gap to Rebecca Morel. It is now going to be McClemens in 4th place, just getting that position, now defending to the outside. Summers, Kendall goes, I should say. That opens the door to Summers to dive up the inside in towards Hawthorne Bend. Side by side they go on the first lap. Big risk being taken, but Summers keeps it there.
Yeah, Summers remaining on the inside as they work their way into Westfield Bend. They go through that right-hander basically at the top of the hill, running out wide and dropping down the hill with Jaden Sherwood. Jonathan Smith also coming through on Matt Kendall. Jaden Sherwood up to 5th position as they flick through the right-hander at Sheen, going through Dingledale. A bit of an incident in the background. Rebecca Morel, Brandon Loudon dropping down the road, and there is a crash as well. I think that's Loudon who's off. Sorry, it's Mario Ras who's off, starting from basically the rear end of the field. And unfortunately, all that good progress is gone.
Yeah, just a bit of a check up there. Morel going wide, slows down, everyone gets bunched up, and if you get a bit of wheel-to-wheel contact in these cars, then basically that is done. You're flying up into the air. And as you say, this time around, it was the yellow machine of Mario Ras who's at the back. Dofenbauer involved in that one. Kendall down the inside. He's going backwards on this first lap. Does get back the position to Jonathan Smith, who gets the run, though, as he work her way up the hill in towards Jewett. He's going to retake that position. Lovely move there. So Kendall's down about, what's that already? About 4 places on this first lap.
Flicking into the right-hander, of course, left-hander, I know my lefts from my rights, going through Graham Hill Bend. They pick a lot of the grass. There's kind of a bit of an AstroTurf there on the right-hand side. Unfortunately, a bit of a spin for Paige Dofenbauer on the opening lap, which is what drops down the order. This is the incident that saw Mario Ras come into contact with Brandon Loudon. They were going 3 wide into Sterling's. Can tell you that's not a particularly great idea. It's a very tricky part of the circuit to navigate by yourself, let alone 3 wide, but they gave it a go. We've got 4 for the race lead, maybe 5 if you account for Jaden Sherwood nose behind, but there's a gap of 1.1 seconds back to Sherwood and Summers, so it does seem as though it's going to be Woodhatch, Bramley, Sanders and McClement battling for the race victory here. Now, Crofton Woodhatch, our points leader at present, doesn't necessarily need to win this race, but a win would be very helpful because it will start him effectively scoring points around to overtake both of his drop scores.
Yeah, exactly. Then his score will increase from where he is already on 366 points. Let's see how many Bramley can get, though, over the course of the night to try and challenge that one. Sanders is looking as Woodhatch feels the need to defend the inside of Paddock Hill Bend. Gets a little bit wiggly there as he works his way through the apex. That's going to allow Bramley to have to run uphill in towards Druids, and this is important for the championship. Side by side they go, squeeze down the inside from Woodhatch, as there's actually going to be McClements coming from Sanders as well. So carbon copy of the move that we saw ahead, and Bramley gets up into first, McClements into third. Yeah,
absolutely fine. Crofton Woodhatch sitting behind his championship rival Hayden Bramley second. A couple of second places, even if Hayden Bramley is able to take victory in both of the races this evening, would be more than enough for Crofton Woodhatch in this title race. Bramley has run out wide, though, through what I still maintain is one of the most difficult corners on this circuit. It takes us back out onto the Grand Prix loop, and Hayden Bramley might lose a couple of spots here. Dylan McClements will look to the outside as they flick their way at the top of Hawthorns Hill through the Hawthorns Bend. It's Woodhatch back to the front. It is McClements trying to get to the outside of Bramley.
And this is side by side. This is important. Bramley can't afford to be taken out as they continue to go side by side. We're up towards Sheen Curve now, and it's been about 1 kilometre that McClements is all over the outside and always squeeze into the outside. McClements is off in the grass, no space being given on the outside. That's going to allow Sanders to come through and maybe go all the way around the outside up into second place. So Bramley squeezing. Is he actually giving the place back, or is that just a loss of momentum? It might actually be just giving him that place because he did push him out wide.
Yeah, I don't know. We'd have to see that one back. I'm sure it was... I mean, it's so tricky with any moves around that part of the circuit. It might have just been a slow exit coming off of Sterling's, but either way, that mistake going through Surtees has certainly cost a bit to Hayden Bramley. Big slides coming in and a double swapper for Sam Sanders, who's gone through the gravel on the exit of Paddock Hill Bend, and now back to the inside comes Hayden Bramley, straight through into second position once more. But importantly for the title race, Crofton Woodhatch is setting sail towards the UK Formula Ford 1600s title.
Yes, this is not good at all. He's going to get surely an easy victory from this point. We know Bramley's fast, but over a second to Woodhatch. Oh, McClements goes wide. Can he save it, actually? Big slide on the rear end, and look who's coming through. Jaden Sherwood, probably the best racer out there on the circuit, has already got himself back up onto the podium from a slight disappointing qualifying. He's up 4 places already.
Yeah, absolutely crazy scenes here, and we're seeing this in the UK Formula Ford 1600 as well. If you're seeing this and thinking this is quite exciting, do remember, join us in a little bit's time, of course. Keep with us, where we'll have the season finale for the British Formula 4 Esports Championship as well coming up. No drop scores to talk about, and that one is just all to play for between Remy Gilbert and Henry Moore. 19 points between those two in the title race once again. Very exciting to see who's going to come out on top between the Team Fenwick duo. Between this group, though, we've got Matt Kendall, who has dragged his way up with Jaden Sherwood and the likes. They're all involved in this fight now for second position. Matt Kendall at the rear of it. Got McClements up ahead, got Sherwood, got Hayden Bramley as well, who's trying to take a secure deposit there on second position. But that race victory, I do think it has gone already from this group, unless a mistake comes in from Crofton Woodhatch, which we've not seen too often this season.
And one thing that we have to remember as well is it's Bramley versus Sherwood for second place in the championship, and then Kendall's actually fourth. So they're in championship order, basically in how they are on the circuit as well. We've got some big fights in behind. Wan Chilin's involved. Brandon Loudon has got to the front of this battle pack, but it looks like Wan Chilin going up the inside in towards turn 3 there at Graham Hill, and up towards 30 as we go. Any moves being made this time? It looks like there's some sends in the background, but not quite. That's Mark Winter on the back of this, having a look up inside of Rebecca Morel.
Yeah, they're all fighting basically over the minor places towards the back end of the top 10, with Wan Chilin, Brandon Loudon all very close. We ride on board with Rebecca Morel outside the top 10, where she found herself qualified. Here's a battle though up towards the front, or at least the second position. Dylan McClemens and Jaden Sherwood almost switching over. You bring up that fight for second in a title race. It is an important fight to keep an eye on. Do remember, big prizes for the top 3 in this championship. The top 2 will be gaining themselves an entry fee, a fully funded entry into the British F4 Esports Championship next year. And there's obviously some big prizes for first, second and third we went through earlier. Here's Rebecca Morel to the outside though of Isaac Gade. A little bit of wheel banging between the two of them, and Gade will hang on to 10th position in the 46 car. Rebecca Morel trying to find a way through. Also side by side between Wan Chilin and Brandon Loudon that went the way of Lynn.
Look how close these battles are here at Brands Hatch. We were talking earlier about how this track just seems to work for championship deciders.
Whoa.
It's so tight as onto the grass. They're all pushing. Big set down the inside there. Oh, there's a crash in the back. Morel's involved. And the 46 divides at Gade as well. There's a further car going off in the background of that. Might be Gade going way off. And I swear there was a third car involved in this one that caused that in the beginning. We'll have to get back and see a replay of that one.
Yeah, I'm sure we will be spooling up the replay machine, or at least Hugo Luis, our broadcast director, as has been all season, will be giving that one a go. Also, just saying, well, on the championship finale, great track for a championship finale. That is not what Cameron Roger was saying coming into this broadcast. He wanted to be Donington Park because he's an absolute wimp. Here comes to the outside, someone who's definitely not a wimp. It is Dylan McClemens getting to the outside of Hayden Bramley. Great overtake there, going through Hawthorns. Can he keep it going into Westfield Bend? Still alongside is Hayden Bramley before they begin the drop down the hill towards Dingledale. 3 wide with Jaden Sherwood looking.
Oh my word, up the inside of Sheen Sherwood. He's such a good racer to the outside. He's squeezing ahead of Bramley. He's going to swap to the inside now, almost in defence actually, because you have to remember we've got Matt Kendall just up behind as well. We've also got Sanders Miller-Kangas who's having a good run, not too far behind, so he's made up loads of space. Let's see how this one. Also, as Wan Chilin was the car to make initial contact, then it was Gaydon Morel who got involved, and that must have been Mark Winter also, the yellow car. So there's actually 4 cars involved in that kerfuffle at turn 1.
Just a very messy incident, unfortunately, but that's it. Sometimes it can just go like that. You know, it's not necessarily anyone's fault. It just gets a little bit messy. There's Hayden Bramley trying to make it quite messy in this fight for second position as he looks to the inside of Dylan McClemens, who locks the front right, goes out a little bit wide, opens up the opportunity for Hayden Bramley to come through. 5 minutes and 15 seconds left to go on the clock, and plenty of battling still to come. Should be 3.5 laps from this point, with Hayden Bramley currently hanging on to second position, and the victory almost certainly going the way of Crofton Woodhatch. And it will be one hand on the trophy for Crofton Woodhatch. He is looking in a comfortable position, still needs to deliver a little bit in race number 2, unless of course we have Hayden Bramley finishing below 6th position in this. So if there is an incident, it could actually be done now.
It certainly could, and Bramley is doing everything he can to keep this second place. I think McClemens is probably the second fastest driver out there on the circuit, but Bramley is doing a good job to keep him in behind, and Schroeder's looking strong ever as he is in that 4th position. No big sense down the inside of Sterling's this time around. And remember, Kendall's sitting on the back of this one, so this could easily swap around. 4 drivers going for 2 final positions on the podium with 4 minutes remaining in the penultimate race of the season. Bramley has been so fast all year, but now he's under threat for second place in this championship. McClemens to the outside. Look at the run that he's got in that green machine. He might just get his nose ahead. Bramley's going to have to decide how much he wants to defend this up the inside. He has a little bit of wiggle. He's going to push McClemens wide. This is going to open up the door to Sherwood now to go 3 wide down the inside towards Jewett. He backs out of that one smartly, so it's actually going to be McClemens around the outside.
Yeah, that was smart from Jaden Sherwood, trying to force the issue there and making it 3 wide. Druids was always going to end in tears. Cangis. Still side-by-side remains between these two, with McClements coming out top by the time they get through Graham Hill Bend, but then we're going to see some more side-by-side going into Surtees as Hayden Bramley forces the issue into the tricky braking zone and arguably the hardest corner on the circuit. It starts to rise up the hill and then pushes away on the exit. It's so difficult to get through. Now we're going to get the 3 wide on the run through Pilgrim's Drop as we go down and then back up to Hawthorns Hill. Bit of squeezing coming in there from McClements. In the middle is Hayden Bramley. On the inside is Dylan McClements. And on the outside trying to make it work is Jaden Sherwood. A beautiful up and under coming in from Hayden Bramley, trying to put on a superb move to try and retake second position.
This is unbelievable racing. How has Bramley come out on top on that battle? Sherwood is sitting behind. We're 2 by 2. McClements once again on the outside through Sheens. These two have been here before. They stay on the track this time around. Sherwood's trying to think about it. We've got Milikangas and Sanders joining this battle as we get to, what's this, 5-6 cars now, all fighting for second place on the road as we come up towards a couple of laps remaining in this race.
Some of the best racing that we've seen here in the UK Formula Ford 1600s of 2025. It's absolutely fantastic. It's an epic here at Brands Hatch in the fight for second, and we're going to get another entry into this fight with Timmy Milakangis rejoining this battle. It goes 2nd through 7th with McClements, Bramley, Sherwood, Kendall, Sanders and Milakangis all fighting over second position at the moment. It could be dramatic times for Hayden Bramley. Remember, I think it would actually be, he needs a top 5 here. He must have a top 5 if he has a chance for the title, because of course Crofton Woodhatch will now be scoring courtesy of the victory. It'll be 45 points for that, and he'll be outscoring basically his drop scores, both of them. For Bramley, if he doesn't get 5th place, even a victory wouldn't be good enough in race 2 regardless of what happens. So he must finish somewhere in here. Really, it has to be a podium.
Absolutely. I think it's the podium time just to give an extra point here or there. In the background, though, Sherwood is now sitting in that 4th position, but he's got big threat because Kendall has also got a big threat from Sanders in behind. We stay single file, though. We've been side by side for 2 or 3 laps. It gets to penultimate lap time, and finally they decide this is where we're going to calm down. We're going to keep it all for this final lap. Woodhatch has gone by 4 seconds. McClemens, though, is a bit slow through there. We're 2 by 2 as we're going up the hill in towards Sterling's, but not quite this time around. Bramley's thinking, where can I get this second place? It's the defensive line from McClemens. He slowly works its way as we come to start final lap time. Final lap, penultimate race of the season. Woodhatch leads, but for second place is anyone's game.
Yeah, take a deep breath, ladies and gentlemen. We've got 3.9 kilometres to decide this fight for second position. At the moment, it's McClements in position for that second place in this race. But Hayden Bramley is not done yet. We've seen some incredible fighting between this group. And Jaden Sherwood is now going to force his way into 3rd position. Can he find his way past the braking zone at Druids? Sam Sanders to the outside as well as Matt Kendall. Side by side for 3rd position. And things are looking bad for Bramley. He's dropping back to 4th position. He's got the inside line at Graham Hill, though.
And the more that he battles here, the more McClements and Sherwood are going to get away. This is not fun indeed for him, as up the inside is going to be Sanders on Kendall. That is actually going to help Bramley a little bit in terms of opening up a car length in behind, while Bramley, I think second place might have gone. He's just going to have to focus on getting Sherwood, but he in turn wants to get McClements. We've got half a lap to go. Side by side we still remain. Sanders and Kendall. Is now going to be Sanders on the outside through Hawthorn. That is a big risk on the final lap of the race. Up the inside is going to be for Kendall, but not quite enough. He's going to have to pull back in line as we have a quarter of a lap to go.
Is there going to be an overtake, though, coming in from Jaden Sherwood on McClements, which could open the door for Hayden Bramley? We're into that final sector. We saw Crofton Woodhatch working his way through it already. Dylan McClements, 2nd position. Jaden Sherwood in 3rd. Hayden Bramley in 4th. Final corner awaits Crofton Woodhatch. It's not going to be the title secured just yet, but it's basically one hand and a few fingers on the other on the title. It's 7 victories. Once again for Crofton Woodhatch, he is onto the top step of the podium and an important 45 points to go with. McClements will cross the line in 2nd position with Sherwood, and Hayden Bramley just about being able to keep Matt Kendall at bay, and that will be an important few points for Bramley. As a dramatic end to the race there with McClements, Sherwood, Bramley, Kendall, Sanders and Milikangas. What a show they put on this afternoon. But for Crofton Woodhatch camp, it's not quite the title, but it's basically putting it to bed.
Yes, it pretty much needs a DNF from Woodhatch and a race victory from Hayden Bramley. But looking at how hard everyone is going to race, the chance of Woodhatch of DNFing are very, very low. But then for Bramley to actually win the race anyway, I think is going to be under threat. So it's looking good for the 22, but it's not quite done yet.
I think as well that we might have had the fastest lap come in from our race winner as well. What's the reverse grid going to be? Is it going to be a big number? It's not going to be a 10. It might be a 9. It's going to be a 9. Of course, it's the series of big numbers here, Cam. We only deal with the bigger digits. I don't think we've had a 5 or a 6 all season long. It's been 8s, 9s and 10s. And that is the way we like it here in the commentary booth. The drivers, however, not so much. Let's take a look at the provisional race results. It is Crofton Woodhatch getting the bonus point for fastest lap. So 46 points to his name. Crofton Woodhatch onto the top step of the podium for the 7th time. Dylan McClements in 2nd position with Jaden Sherwood in 3rd. Hayden Bramley in 4th position with Matt Kendall, Sam Sanders, Timo Miller-Kangas, Charlie Summers and Mark Winter just ahead of Wan Shi Lin at the back end of the top 10. Jonathan Smith, Isaac Gabe, Paige Dothenbout, Rebecca Morell and Brandon Loudon will be the race finishers. Mario Rass, unfortunately, a retirement early on in the race with that dramatic moment working their way down through Stirlings. It is time, though, to have a little chat with our top grouping. Crofton Woodhatch will join me here once again in the commentary booth. We've heard a lot from you this season. We've heard a lot of victories, 7 victories now, 7 pole positions as well. Not quite the title on mathematics yet, but that is a perfect way to start the evening.
Yeah, it's a perfect way. Thank you. No, good qualifying, good race. Kept it clean at the start, even when Hayden did get in front of me, and was just able to capitalise on a mistake that he made and pull away whilst they were all fighting. Really.
What's it like to kind of have this position in the championship where you're coming into it with a relatively comfortable points gap? But it's still, there's still that pressure on because it's not done and it can, go either way at any moment.
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure on. It's always nicer being the one that is trying to close the gap instead of the one trying to keep the gap. But no, after last round, I was a little bit frustrated because I was pretty much 1 lap away from winning it around early. So it just meant that I had to go on to this round and do it, just get good results again. But no, it was a good race. Pressure still on for this second race. I still got to finish it. But no, it's a good way to start.
Yeah, Cameron Rogers has been putting in some of the information. If you were to finish in 16th position, you would and Hayden Bramley were to win, you would secure the title by a single point. Right. So effectively, you've just got to finish. It's still, basically, you never know with this circuit. You do have someone very experienced in your ears, I'm wisely informed this round. Mark Fletcher, of course, 2024 champion in your ears this round. What's that like? Is it a little bit of a calming voice from Mark?
Yeah, I got quite friendly with Mark through last season. I've done a couple of races with him since outside of the championship, and I called upon him purely for the just working the maths out. Really, he said there's not really his strong suit, but he'll give it a go. But no, I thought I'd get him in for this round, just keep me calm. And just to I've not had anyone in my ear all this season. Sometimes I think it's helped because I've been able to focus a little bit more. But I thought I'd just get him in for the last round.
Well, I thought we'd talk about the positive information. I'm going to give you one last bit before we let you go. Maybe we won't talk to you again this evening. It's been a great season from you. You've done a great drive, and unfortunately, you've got to the reverse grid from 9th place. So good luck in that one.
Yeah, thank you.
There we go. Crofton Woodhatch doing the work that he needs to do in this title race. Next one to be joined in the comedy booth, we've got Dylan McClements to fire his way through another podium for you, Dylan. You are keeping these podiums in. Was it 4 in a row? Absolutely incredible. You've got some serious form in the second half of this season.
Yeah, I think I just had a bit of time to get used to the car, and I know Brennan's nearly inside out now. I've raced it quite a bit in the Ford, so excited to what happens in this next race.
What's the goal? I mean, look, surely it's just win the race and see what happens. Are you even thinking about anything in the championship, or is it just let's just go for it, and where I finish is where I finish?
I'm just gonna go for it because I think I'm a bit too far out unless something major happens. But I'm just gonna aim for the win if possible, and try to just do my best and send it.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happens if Jaden Sherwood doesn't finish, and then you were to win. I think you would overtake him on the points and maybe finish in the top 3. That's one thing that we'll have to explore a little bit later on. But obviously, you're quite good at working your way through the field. It's a 9-car reverse grid, so you'll be starting from 8th position. That's probably a pretty confident position for you to start from, knowing that you can get those overtakes done.
Yeah, I mean, I started at 6th. I think I was up to 4th in the first lap, so hopefully I can make the cup position in the first lap. That's usually where most people start to build a gap. So we'll see what happens, but I'll be setting it to try to get this first position for last race.
Well, Dylan, best of luck, and maybe you'll be joining us on the final podium of the season.
Yeah, hopefully. Thanks a lot.
There we go, Dylan McClements. One final interview, someone who does know how to get the overtakes done. We've spoken about this a fair few times this season. Once again, a not amazing qualifying. It was slightly better. I think it's better than your average, but not amazing. Still able to work your way through. You are not shy of an overtake. A little bit of a 3-wide look at various points, some looks into Sheen curve and stuff. You are not afraid of an overtake around Brands Hatch. That's what we're seeing here. Is that what it feels like in the car? You seem so confident with it.
Yeah, definitely. I am really confident of overtaking. I do know the limit quite well, and I think I did have to back out of it a couple times. But yeah, I think if you don't overtake, you're probably going to get overtaken from the guy behind or girl behind. So you need to keep the momentum moving forward. So that's what I try and stick by, and I think that comes from a lot of real life racing where I do karting in real life. It's very cutthroat, and you have to move forward. Otherwise, like I said, you're going to be going backwards.
Looked like a tough little race there between basically there was 6 of you. It was yourself, there was Dylan in there, Hayden, Matt, Sam, and at the end Timu also joined the fight. Tough race, but you are proving that racing is very possible around here. Like you say, if you don't go for the overtake, someone else is going to go for it on you. Is it quite a raceable circuit? Because some members of this commentary booth, not me, they think this circuit's really quite hard to race at, and it's maybe not a great season finale circuit. I think it's a great track to race at.
Yeah, I think it's a brilliant track. There's plenty of corners, plenty of braking zones, plenty of fast corners, which are always fun to overtake rounds. Yeah, I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be a good track for racing, especially the finale.
Well, best of luck in this season finale. Only 3 more steps on the podium to go. We'll have to wait and see. Maybe you'll be taking your 2nd victory of the season, and once again joining us here in the comedy booth.
Thank you.
There we go, Jaden Sherwood straight back out onto the circuit, I'm sure, ready to get himself into this final race of the UK Formula Ford 1600 Championship. Cam, you're trying to run some serious numbers here, trying to get everything working. Basically, as I said in the interview, I'm pretty sure it is if Crofton Woodhatch finishes this race, regardless as to where it is, he will score the necessary points to win the championship. Because even if he was 16th and Hayden Bramley was to win and get the bonus point for fastest lap, the problem with that was that they would both finish on exactly the same points. But I think Crofton Woodhatch has 1 or 2 more wins than Hayden Bramley. Or it might be 5, but
Yes, so if, as you say, if Crofton finishes last, aka 16th place, he'll still get 5 points. And then Bramley would have to win and get a fastest lap just to tie. But on a count back, it would be 3 wins to 7. In that situation, Crofton would win. So the only situation is if Crofton was to DNF and get 0 points, he would lose those 5 points. And then Bramley would basically, in the same situation, win by 5 points. But the gap between first and second is 5 points. Then if he finished second, it would then be tied and he would lose again. So his situation is Bramley has to win. If he wins, there's no maths that can help him. And then that relies on Crofton having his only retirement of the whole season.
Yeah, it's one of those ones where you can only do what you can do. Now, for Hayden Bramley, that is win this race. And he has to have the fastest lap as well. He has to tick off both of those things. Those two things, by the way, are going to be extremely difficult, but he is obviously starting higher than Crofton and Jaden and Dylan, and then a few of those other ones at the back. I think he'll be starting from, I think it should be 6th position. So a win is very possible there for Bramley. But I do also think that if I'm in Hayden Bramley's boots, I'm pretty settled after that. I'm not thinking about the championship. I'm thinking about scoring some decent points here. I'm thinking about second in the championship. I'm thinking about the prizes that go with. I'm thinking about the named trophy. And I'm also thinking about that free entry, the paid-for entry into the 2026 British Formula 4 Esports Championship.
Yes, because if, for instance, if Sherwood wins, and Bramley would be in second place, as is the result that I've ended up having to guess, he would only be 13... So not even that, 11 points behind Sherwood. So the gap between Bramley and Sherwood would be 11 points. So if Bramley starts going down, those 11 points are going to swap around very quickly, and Bramley actually could lose second place in the championship. There's us talking about him winning. He might even end up in third place if he has a bad result. So there's 11 points going to be crucial. So Bramley needs to basically finish with inside the top, what's going to be like top 12 or something like that, and basically not finish at the back. So he's got to be careful with that one, because that's going to be a big one. You know, being in British F4 Esports next season is going to be a big thing, as well as obviously the pedals that come in second place.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, there are some good prizes. What they are focused on is obviously the title, or at least, you know, being in the top 2 to then get that paid-for entry into the British Formula 4 Esports Championship as one of our 2, obviously, academy drivers. Obviously, Shoma Shintani is racing in British Formula 4 Esports this year as the Williams Sim Racing Academy driver. Mark Fletcher is not taking part, of course, our champion from last year. But if you look at the names before that, Henry Moore, of course, he's battling for the title. He was part of the Guild Esports before it turned into Team Bennick, and he's battling for the championship. He was the champion back in 23 and obviously was an academy driver last year. Danamore did do a couple of rounds in the 2024 season of British Formula 4 Esports after finishing in second in the UK Formula 4 1600. We don't have him in British Formula 4 Esports anymore, but I've got to give a bit of a shout out to Danamore and for Henry Moore as well. Of course, for here in the UK Formula 4 1600, it's obviously great to see some of our drivers go on to do big things. For Henry Moore and Danamore, I think it's a couple of, it might be a week or so, they will both be fighting for the FIA Formula 4 Esports Global Championship. That is, you know, pretty high honours. Henry Moore is the championship leader in that. Danamore, I think, is in 3rd position in the title race. They're both fighting for that, for Team Bennick and Coanda respectively. They were both battling for victory at Laguna Seca earlier at the weekend. It's an incredible display between the pair of them. I think it's December 6th is the season finale of that, because I think I might be trying to work my way across London to go and visit a certain Cameron Roger and we'll watch it together. Yeah. But it's great to see some of those drivers from the UK Formula 4 600s move on to really big things.
And in a short space of time.
Yeah.
I mean, it was 2 years ago, wasn't it? 2023, that we had the awesome championship fight with Moore and Amor. That was always a good one that season. Obviously, Henry Moore dominated that, but Danamore put up a good fight in that championship, and yeah, 24 months later, we're seeing them fight for an even bigger champ, not just the British Formula Esports, but the global as well. So that is absolutely amazing to see. So I guess it just shows you why we brought this in. 2023, that was the first season having the 1600s there. 2022 was the first season of the British F4 Esports. A year later, we brought in the support category, and it opened up an avenue to get some extra drivers in, some, I was about to say younger drivers, obviously they're younger, but not everyone else here is younger, they're just maybe slightly less experienced, but it gives them the opportunity to then obviously work their way up. And the fact that they are, just getting to the top level means it is a good championship, and I can't wait to see this one return in 2026.
Yeah, again, it's one that you do get some really quality drivers on this. Although as much as I've given them a shout out, I am going to give a little bit of a negative shout out or whatever to, however you want to put it, a diss to Henry Moore. He's a wimp. He doesn't want to play golf because it's winter.
What
a wimp.
Winter golf is the best.
Get a grip, sir. Well, when you're, I think it's a single-digit handicap, so fair play. But just, yeah, well, I mean, that's not hard these days. Lord Toppington over there. You can't hit a ball more than 20 yards off of the tee box. Anyway, let's focus on our starting grid here, of course. It'll be Mark Winter who'll be starting from the reverse grid pole for our season finale here in the UK Formula Ford 1600s. Charlie Summers will be starting from second, Teemu Miller-Kangas from third, with Sam Sanders in fourth. Matt Kendall in sixth, and Hayden Bramley must-win race for Bramley will start from sixth. Jaden Sherwood, Dylan McClements, and Crofton Woodhatch in position, poised to become our champion. Behind that is Wan Shi Lin, it's Jonathan Smith, it's Isaac Gade from 12th position. Behind that it'll be Paige Dovenbow, then Rebecca Morell, Brandon Loudon, and our sole retirement from the previous race in Mario Rass. Cameron Roger, I'm not asking for champions, I'm not asking for anything, I'm just asking who's winning this race.
Ooh, Sam Sanders.
Sam Sanders, that's the guess from fourth position from Cameron Roger. I'm going to go for Jaden Sherwood. Either way, they're racing down to the opening corner for the last time in 2025. Mark Winter will hold on to the race lead as Teemu Miller-Kangas was looking down the inside of Charlie Summers and was not able to find his way through. A big look to the outside from Sanders in fourth position, trying to steal away the final step on the podium from Miller-Kangas. They work their way through it and then start the run down the hill to Graham Hill Bend.
A nice clean start from everyone. We work our way into the third corner, and there's McClements way out in the green machine. Back in the pack before the lead, we're going to see Summers and Winter. Summers dives it down the inside into Orsurtes, and he's made it stick as well with side-by-side in the background. That's Sanders and Kendall reigniting their battle from the previous race. It looks like it's going to be Sanders in third place as he come onto the back straight once more. Miller-Kangas is looking racy for second place, but now Mark Winter is getting the run as we come up towards Hawthorne Bend. He's going to try and retake the lead, but Summers will hold on.
Yeah, Summers to the race lead then, getting past Mark Winter, who started this from the reverse grid pole. Teemu Miller-Kangas, our most recent new winner in this championship, having won the reverse grid race a little while ago. He's a quality driver, is Miller-Kangas. He's proven that he can take victories. Can he steal another one away here in the season finale? Oh, as there's a spin in the background, is that Mark Winter, who's dropping down the field from reverse grid pole to 16th position in a lap.
And that just shows you how quickly things can happen. Watch out, Crofton Woodhatch or Hayden Bramley as they go for the championship in this final race of the season. And we get to the end of lap one. It's Summers, Miller-Kangas, Sanders, Bramley and Kendall, your top five. Woodhatch is down in 8th position. That is enough for him as we stand. But there's going to be quite a few positions changing between now and the end of the race.
Certainly is. Crofton Woodhatch having gained that spot is relatively important, but for Hayden Bramley, he is doing what he needs to do at the moment. He's marching his way to the front. Dylan McClements was having a bit of a look to the inside there on Hayden Bramley. He certainly is going to find his way through to keep himself ahead of Matt Kendall. Battle for the race lead. Miller-Kangas looking to the outside, going into Graham Hill Bend. The up and under trying to come in from Sam Sanders. And Hayden Bramley's been sent around. He was trying to throw everything at it, but he is round. I think he might have had some rear suspension damage as well. He's certainly got a big knock on it. And it is all gone for Hayden Bramley, at least when it comes to the title race. Now the fight for him will go into what happens in the battle for second.
Yeah, this actually is important, as you say, not just for the championship, but for second place. He needs to get the place in the British F4 Esports next year. But let's get up to the front battle because Miller-Kangas takes the lead. Summers is in second place. Sanders working his way through with McClements. Actually, he's going to lose that. McClements is looking racy on the outside. He goes into the grass to take that third place. What a brave move once more. And it's all change up towards the front. This looks very different to what it did one lap ago. And of course, very importantly, Woodhatch is involved in this battle, getting the top points once again.
Absolutely. Hayden Bramley, 15th position. What a disappointment for him this race. At present, though, he would still be hanging on to second in the championship. For Jaden Sherwood, he needs to move forward. Not by much, though. It is only by 3 points. Let's see what happened. It was just a stack up. Sam Sanders a bit slow on the exit. Who was that made contact? Must have been Jonathan Smith.
Yeah.
But just a bit of a stack up there.
Yeah, big contact, and that is why Smith is down pit lane up towards Druids for another time of asking. McClements round the outside. He's trying to go for the lead, actually. He thought he was going just for second place, but he thought he had half an opportunity. Oh, big contact. Smith up and down and around, ending up on all four wheels. But he is down pit road. And also Bramley as well is down pit lane. He's had to take some damage repairs, so that's going to almost, concrete him there in 15th place, and he won't be getting many points today.
No, certainly not. So for Bramley, it's about as much of a disaster as it possibly could have been. We won't be catching up with him this round. Could we be catching up with this driver here? Jaden Sherwood going side by side with Sam Sanders in the battle in the background. There was a move for Dylan McClements to sneak his way through into the race lead. He said he was pretty confident and pokey in the interview, and he's, to be fair, not a million miles away from overtaking Hayden Bramley in this championship. We'll have to redo some of the points. I don't think he actually will overtake him, as Sam Sanders off in the background. Jaden Sherwood up to 5th position.
I think Sherwood needs a podium to overcome Bramley, but we'll continue on with that one as the race progresses. McClements is getting away at the front. He's certainly one of the fastest drivers out there today. He was looking fast in that first race, just got stuck in the traffic a little bit. Now he's out on his own at the front. Maybe they won't be able to catch him. Summers is keeping in 2nd place very nicely as Milikangas goes from 1st to 3rd place in a lap, but he's looking racy as ever. 10 minutes remain of the season, and it is looking very feisty out there as the drivers fight for the final positions. 2nd and 3rd position in the championship still get prizes, and the top 2 go to British F4 Esports next year.
And at the moment, Hayden Bramley, Jaden Sherwood, they are locked on points, 381 apiece between the pair of them. On countback, it would be second in the title race to Hayden Bramley, courtesy of 2 victories this season, one at Thruxton and then one at the previous round at Zandvoort. Bramley, it's out of his hands now. You're absolutely right. He can't do anything more effectively. I think his race is done. For Jaden Sherwood, one final more position, 4th position, and 2nd in the title race will be his. Dylan McClements could take over 3rd position here if Jaden Sherwood goes backwards.
I guess for Bramley, he needs to try and come out and get fastest lap and then take 1 point, because then that would be effectively a position, because it's point per position effectively in some of these places. So that might be enough. But to be honest, with Sherwood is in the positions, it's actually 2 or 3 points a position. So I don't think it's actually going to make too much of a difference. So depending on where Sherwood finishes, if it's in this point. So let's see how this one goes. But Sherwood does need, as you say, it looks like it's going to be 4th place, not a podium. 4th place is the number, and he's looking at 3 cars ahead of him. That could potentially be those positions as we get to the final corner once more. And McClements is under threat. He's not going to pull away at the front.
No, certainly not. The only thing for Jaden Sherwood here is that sometimes when he makes a move, you can be a little bit aggressive about it. I'm not saying that is a bad thing. I think he's a quality racer, and he's proven that time and time again. But that he puts it on the line. He makes the high-risk moves. He gives it a go. 4th place is what he needs now. He looks to the inside of Matt Kendall, and he's going to try and send one in here. At the rear end of this train, by the way, is Crofton Woodhatch. He's in the 2nd of the race victory. He could steal one away here. You never know. But the thing is, Woodhatch basically, it's done. It's already done. It literally does not matter. This is now a race for fun for Crofton Woodhatch, who is our champion-elect.
Yeah, it's actually a good thing, because if Bramley was still in here, it would make sense for him to stay on the back of the pack and just take a chill one. But now that Bramley's gone, there's basically no way that Bramley can win this championship. Therefore, Woodhatch in reverse, he might as well go for it and send it, because it doesn't matter if he's going to DNS. Oh, big contact up ahead though. That's going to change things. Milikangas drops down. That's automatically going to give Sherwood the 4th place and the points that he needs as he drops behind Kendall. Milikangas has lost his front nose as well.
Yeah, and this is why it's actually important if Hayden Bramley can get back out on the circuit, because he can technically steal away that point as well for the position, but I don't think he will be returning to the circuit. Side by side between Sanders and between Kendall. Kendall retaking over 4th position. Jaden Sherwood at the moment with 3rd, more than good enough to steal away 2nd position in the championship from Hayden Bramley, who's having a torrid time here at the Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit. Wan Chi Lin looking to the outside as he tries to find his way back through on Crofton. Woodhatch is in 6th position at the moment, and now the battle for the race lead has certainly separated itself from this pack, courtesy of that 1.5 seconds from Charlie Summers to Jaden Sherwood. Grows to 1.7 as the battle pack will begin on this final step of the podium.
Yes, just to reiterate, this is enough for Sherwood to take 2nd place in the championship and go to British F4 Esports next season, ahead of Hayden Bramley, who had half a thought of the championship and now might be dropping down to 3rd. And also with McClements getting the race victory, he's going to be getting close as well in the standings for that position. But he is going to be, I think, 3 points behind in terms of the situation where we stand. This is going to be such a close one. Wan Chi Lin is getting involved ahead of Sam Sanders. This is a much better result from him. But actually, I say that he's got a bad run as he come up the hill and he has to drop him behind.
Woodhatch finding his way onto the podium in his championship race. I wouldn't put it past him. To be fair, it could actually help his championship rival and all that. Let's see what happened there. So, for Team Milikangas, I've got to say, it's a tricky one. I think he was crowding a little bit there in the braking zone and paid the price for it. That's my instinctive reaction.
Yes, definitely not enough space, and when you move over at a corner like that, unfortunately, contact is certainly going to be had as Woodhatch gets very close to Kendall. I'll tell you what, Woodhatch can get on the podium. The problem is getting the win, I think, is gone with the 2-second gap. If it was just like a second, half a second, they could bridge that at 2 seconds. If Summers is smart and doesn't find the Clements just yet, then maybe we'll have to see if that one isn't necessarily going to happen. Sherwood might be losing second place in the championship, though. Here comes Kendall to the outside.
Indeed, there comes a look from Matt Kendall as he's going to try and find his way back through on Jaden Sherwood. Out wide he's going to go. This is going to allow Crofton Woodhatch to find his way through to the inside. The 22 working his way up the order. Obviously, he's got Mark Fletcher in his ears, the champion of 2024. He'll be telling him when to back out and when to go for the fight. Woodhatch backs out on the flick through the left-hander at Graham Hill Bend. Will now get to the inside of Matt Kendall in the short braking zone at Surtees.
This is lovely racing as Woodhatch gets up the inside. That is an unbelievably well controlled move. But let's see how this one ends as we come downhill. Kendall's regained some the afterburners as we come downhill in towards Hawthorne. He's going to be half a car length alongside as we get in towards the apex. Side by side they go. A bit of a wiggle there from Sanders as Kendall keeps up the inside in towards the very important Westfield Bend, because this has the run up the hill once again. Woodhatch is going to go wide, but he keeps his foot in.
Crazily, they're seeing some excellent racing here between these two drivers. At the moment, though, they're letting Jaden Sherwood step away from this fight. They're letting Jaden Sherwood take second in this championship race. For Hayden Bramley, his thoughts of taking second in this championship race belong to this group closing down on Jaden Sherwood and at least two of them finding their way through. Outside of that, it is done.
And also, I was just thinking of if McClements actually gets a penalty, then that's just going to put Sherwood up even more. McClements was the one who hit the back of Bramley, so that's just going to give more points to Sherwood. So yeah, I don't necessarily agree with that, but I'm just saying, in theory, that's just going to give more points to Sherwood. So it's doubly bad in the situation as well. So that's just so unlucky for Bramley. He's been so good all season, but sometimes the situation just doesn't go your way. He was already on an outside opportunity. And maybe he should have just been focusing on second place in the championship. But when you get contact in a tight battle, it's very unlucky.
Yeah, honestly, that is just one of those racing deals, and it is a big shame for Hayden Bramley. He's been fantastic this season. 8 podiums, 2 victories, side by side for the race lead, though, as Charlie Summers trying to find his way down the inside to take his first victory of the season. For Dylan McClements, he's trying to find his way through into a 5th consecutive podium. Of course, we did catch up with Charlie Summers in the opening race at Knock Hill when he took his first podium of the season. He's had a lot of top 10s this season. In fact, 14 top 10s for Charlie Summers, but just the 2 of those 3 of those have resulted in podiums. He had a podium at Thruxton, he had a podium at Knock Hill, and could be looking at a podium here as well. His 3rd podium of the season, he was able to do so. I mean, look, this is it's fascinating to see, but he wants that victory. Charlie Summers wants that victory, but Dylan McClements is a feisty competitor, especially considering how poor the start of the season was for him and how good he's running now.
Absolutely, and yeah, you say about the podiums, that's the 2nd highest number as well throughout any of the drivers. So he has had such a consistent season, but can he finally do the job and get it done? The issue is he's found McClements, who was looking so fast in the the first race and then the first part of this race. So Summers, he's having an absolute stonker if he's able to do so. They've caught back up to Sherwood in this battle for 3rd place on the road. Sherwood is looking for 2nd in the championship if he stays in this position. If he starts dropping back, 2-3 places like is the number of cars behind him, then that changes things quite dramatically. Less than 2 minutes to go, so penultimate lap time.
2 laps left, like you say, a lap and a half from this point. Not very long when it comes to distance from now until the end of the race. The up and under from Charlie Summers into the back of Dylan McClements, who's going to send him for a bit of a slide. Manages to catch it once more. Dramatic moment there in the battle for the race lead. They've still got a lap to navigate around this Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit, but that nearly gifted Crofton Woodhatch an 8th victory.
And importantly, Hayden Brownlee is back out on the track, so he's getting the points that he can. if there's any issues here for Sherwood, then he does have an opportunity for second in the championship. Just over a minute to go. We're coming up to the white flag, final lap of the season. Woodhatch will be champion, but for second place, it's between Sherwood and Bramley. It's on a knife edge with the big battles we got here on the track.
Yeah, at present, it will be, I think, 385 points for Jaden Sherwood. If he drops back behind Sam Sanders, it would be Hayden Bramley taking over second in the title race. White flag is out. One final run around the Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit here in the UK Formula Ford 1600s. Look to the inside coming in for Jaden Sherwood as he tries to fend off Sam Sanders. Cam Rogers pick for victory in this race. Our pick's for victory, in fact, going into battle here. But it's not for victory, it is for fourth position.
And we're going to end up with 6 points between second, third and fourth in the championship if we finish like this. What a finish and a battle we are having here at Brands Hatch. Side by side we go. Kendall and Sanders, they've been side by side all day, it seems, between the two races. But for the lead, Summers to the outside.
Summers going to try and go for it into Hawthorne's bend. He's got a great drive. He's got to the outside. He's going to go full send, but McClements also goes full send. The up and under coming in, though, for Charlie Summers as he looks to the inside of the Westfield bend. Such a risky place to go.
And this is tight, but he's backed out of it. He's lost his momentum as well. So McClements, as he comes up the hill, he's going to be leading. He's got just 3 corners to go. One final prop overtaking opportunity. Here is the one, but he's too far behind. McClements has positioned himself well.
Brilliant driving coming in once again between the top two for Charlie Summers, a search for the first victory that he can get this season. Dylan McClements crowding him out as they work into the final corner. The up and under is going to see a drag race towards the line. Is it going to be an advantage to Charlie Summers? Oh, a bit too much for a squeeze there for Dylan McClements, and they come across the line with McClements in position to take his 4th victory of the season. It is Charlie Summers in second, and it is Crofton Woodhatch who will become the UK Formula Ford 1600 champion after an epic hit in Brands Hatch to open up championship night. Woodhatch on top, a superb drive from him all season long. 7 victories, 10 podiums, and a title as well.
That was quite something of a season that we had. I mean, Woodhatch had it covered all day long. He was looking strong. Such a shame for Bramley. He did in the end get up into 14th position, but Sherwood is just so strong there in the race once again. It is going to be close, but it's just going to be 3 points that Sherwood is going to take second place in the championship, and we will see him in British F4 Esports next season.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. Obviously, the donuts, as good as you can get, let's be real here, as good as you can get on the grass there for Crofton Woodhatch, who we do have the joy with him grabbing a podium. We will get to speak to our champion as well, so at least there is that for us to deal with. Before we get to that bit, though, let's talk us through the provisional race results. It's Dylan McClements with a bit of a squeeze there on Charlie Summers up towards the line. Sure, there might be a bit of beef between a pair of those. First and second. Crofton Woodhatch, though, our champion, will finish in 3rd position. Jaden Sherwood in 4th, looking to secure 2nd in the championship race. Sam Sanders, Matt Kendall, Wan Shi Lin, Rebecca Morell, Mark Winter and Isaac Gay. Crofton Woodhatch also grabbing the fastest lap of the race. So a 1st, 3rd and 2 fastest laps. An epic round for him. Paged over Mao in 11th position. Brandon Loudon, Mario Rass, and then Hayden Bramley would cross the line 5 laps down in 14th position. And of course, retirements for Team Millikangis and for Jonathan Smith. So epic stuff in all of that. We're going to be trying to be fairly fast with the interviews here. We'll drag in Dylan McClements first. Of course, a race victor. Once again, the 4th victory that you've had this season, or 3rd victory rather you've had this season. A great drive to victory there, Dylan. I mean, what do you make of that race? Quite a dicey fight between you and Charlie at the end.
Yeah, I worked my way through up the grid quite quickly. Kind of stayed out of an incident. I think I hit Hayden for the check-up, but apart from that, I worked my way to the first, and I think me and Charlie just broke away, and then the last couple of laps we started battling, and it was a very good battle all the way to the end.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's been an epic fight from all season. 5 consecutive podiums, an absolutely incredible end. You said you got used to this car. What's next for you then? What car are you getting used to next? Where are we going to see you around in sim racing after this?
I'm not sure yet. I'm gonna have to look, what's available and stuff, because this has been really the first esports championship I've done. So I'll have to look about, and hopefully you'll see me somewhere else soon.
Well, it'll be 4th in the championship for you. You've certainly done yourself proud this season, Dylan. Congratulations on yet another victory.
Thanks a lot. Cheers.
There we go. Dylan McClements onto the top step of the podium once more. We'll drag in Charlie Summers, who we've spoke to a couple of times this season, of course, most recently back in the opening race at Knockhill. Almost stole away victory then from McClements. A bit of a crowd out through the final corner. What do you make of that race? You put on an epic fight with McClements there.
Yeah, I thought that was going to be mine, but yeah, just a little bit of contact was unfortunate, and I think that slowed me down enough for him to take it. But no, that was really good racing. I think it sort of shows what I should have done a bit more throughout the season. I think I spent a bit too much time being, I would say, cautious in terms of, oh, I'll let someone through so I can sort of follow them and then we'll race at the end. But I think what that ended up doing throughout the season was just letting far too many people through and dropping me down a bunch of places. So I thought, this race, I'm going to hold my own and I'm going to defend a bit. And yeah, I think it really paid off.
Certainly did. Like you say, you nearly grabbing that victory. You've been pretty consistent all the way through the season. A lot of top 10s. I think it's 14 top 10s from you, 3 podiums now. I mean, what do you make of the season? Has it been a really positive one, negative one? Like, how are you feeling about this one unfolding?
I think it's been pretty positive. Obviously, I would have liked to have been a bit further up, but yeah, 14 top 10s. I didn't realise it was quite that many. I think that's, yeah, it's just a testament to, as I say, consistency. But it's those extra points for those top few places that I think I was missing out on. So yeah, nice to get another podium, and hopefully I'll be back next year and do a bit better.
Well, we'll keep our fingers crossed. Charlie, great season, great drive, and a great podium from you.
Cheers, guys.
There we go. Next up, we're going to catch up with our champion. It is Crofton Woodhatch in the commentary booth. We've got to be a bit quick here because British Formula 4 Esports is not long away from starting. But Crofton, what an epic drive this season. Obviously, this evening, first and third, couple of fast laps as well. And you are the champion. You've done it. You set your sights net at the start of the season. You got to be feeling over the moon.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. Been quite quick all year, well, all season. So to get it done is just like it just feels good because I felt like it should have been mine coming into it. I put a lot of pressure on myself to win this season, and I've done it. So yeah, thank you.
Obviously, you'll be setting your sights on British Formula 4 Esports next season. You'll be one of our 2 drivers to move up, yourself alongside Jaden. I mean, that's going to be a very different prospect, though. What are you expecting from that? Obviously, we've got basically a year to wait until that point, but still.
Yeah, it'll be hard. A lot harder. I've raced some of the guys in there. Obviously, Shoma, Matt, I've raced a little bit as well. But no, I've not done much F4. So it's going to be a bit of a learning curve, but I'm sure after some practice I won't be too far off the pace, and hopefully can do decent in that next year.
Well, if it makes you feel better, I don't think Henry Moore had done a lap of the F4 car until he won the UK Formula 4 Championship either. So you never know. You're in good company on that one. Crofton, congratulations. You are our champion.
Thank you.
Now, obviously, we were speaking of a couple of drivers that were moving up into British Formula 4 Esports Championship. We'll be quick here with Jaden Sherwood, who joins us in the commentary booth. Jaden, a great season from you. You do manage to clinch second away in the title race against Hayden Bramley. A positive drive from you this evening.
Yeah, I'm really happy with it, to be honest. I knew it was quite a big gap going into it to catch up to Bramley. It was like 26 points or something like that. So to catch up, yeah, like I said, I'm really happy with. It was really close on points at the end. As I heard mid-race, it was pretty much equal in points at one stage. So it was probably one of the most difficult races of the season. But yeah, it was a really fun one actually. Really fun round. And yeah, I'm happy to come away with seconds. So yeah, I'm also happy. I'm thankful for my spotter Hayden Taylor. He really helped a lot in that situation. So yeah.
Well, Jaden, it's been a really positive season from you. You won't take up much more of your time. You've been epic this season, a great drive up to second in the championship race. And like you say, we'll be looking to see you in British F4 next season.
Thank you very much.
There we go, Jaden Sherwood, one of our most prolific overtakers in this championship. Unfortunately, though, it's not been quite the positive round for Hayden Bramley, but you've done yourself proud this season, Hayden. It has been a good season from you. You've kind of dropped off in the middle, and you came back really strong. Unfortunately, just didn't quite click for this round. You threw everything at it, but that's racing sometimes. Very unlucky in the middle there. How do you feel about this round? How do you feel about this evening? And what's next for you?
Well, yeah, I came in quite confident. Like 20 points is a massive gap to claw back in one round, so I wasn't focused on P1 at all. I could not win that on pace even if I was half a second faster, because it would require Crofton crashing out, and he doesn't really do that very often. So like, P2 was the main focus, and even though I finished behind in race 1, it was still like a 15-point gap. So I wasn't planning on doing anything big, just not giving him 15 points of leeway. But yeah, it's really unlucky, and I can't say it's anyone's fault because it was Dylan who hit me, but the guys in front caught me off guard, and if they caught me off guard, they're going to catch him off guard. So I can't put any fault on anyone really.
Look, it's one of those seasons. It's just tough sometimes how it goes. Hayden, thank you for joining us here in the comedy booth as well. Third in the championship. You have put on a great championship display, and we'll be looking forward to seeing you at some point in the future.
Yeah, thank you.
There we go. Our top 3 in the race, our top 3 in the championship done. We are ready, though, as the championship day will continue. British Formula 4 Esports will be up next. 19 points between the top 2 in the championship race. We are excited. We are strapped in and ready to go, and we'll see you in just a moment. One last time then, we are ready to go. It has been a fantastic season here in the British Formula 4 Esports Championship, but we have a champion to crown here in West Kingsdown in Kent, and we are ready for it. It has been a tight championship race that brings us all the way to this point. Just 19 points between first and second. Remy Gilbert, your title leader. Henry Moore in second position. It'll be one of the 2 Team Fenwick duo that will be taking top honours, but which one will it be? Let's talk through the prizes very quickly then, because qualifying is just around the corner. There's a £5,000 prize pool for the winning team, or for the team's championship, for the top 3 in that. The winning team already crowned in the case of Team Fenwick. The fight for second and third, though, is definitely still on. £1,500 and £1,000 between those 2 positions. Of course, the top 3 teams also receiving 1 full day of single-seater simulator use at the base performance simulator alongside an engineer, of course, Banbury. Fantastic to see. The winning team being Team Fenwick, they also received the 4 hospitality tickets to a round of their choice in the 2026 Wera Tours British Formula 4 Championship. And of course, the pole position award presented by Base Performance Simulator. The driver with the most pole positions this season wins a BPS FW1 steering wheel and a BPS DDU. It is going to be fascinating as to how that one rolls out. We'll talk about that in just a second, because they're all pretty close when it comes to that award. This is how things are close, though, in the championship. Drivers-wise, it's Remy Gilbert, 485 points, 466 for Henry Moore, 407 for Matt Caruana, but he is not in action this evening. Danny Moreno, a few points clear of Leo Brown. Then, of course, those behind going about it, Augustin Torlashi, Iggy Smith, Will Chadwick, and Pablo Espes, the top 10. Teams championship-wise, those fights up the order. Of course, TC Esports versus Hymo setups by EMM, and I believe there's only one Hymo setups by EMM driver in the form of Will Chadwick, because I don't think Caruana has actually been replaced. We thought it might have been Joseph Loke. It's not going to be the case, I don't believe. TC Esports are right up there, though, and they are able to challenge between Augustin Tolashi and Danny Moreno. Drive Lounge Racing, they are basically secured in 4th position of the championship, and it's tight behind Aston Martin, Aramco F1 Esports team, the Scuderia Ferrari HP Esports team, Alpine and Williams lead Aztec and BS competition. A whole host of F1-related teams there, 5th through 8th position. We're about ready in the qualifying session. Of course, there's 2 25-minute races up ahead of this, but the battle for the BPS pole is about ready to begin, and we'll take a gander around the circuit here. Cam, you're going to take us for a ride around and show us how to do a lap around this fantastic circuit.
Absolutely. Brands Hatch GP, the final track of the season. Who's going to get the final pole position? Through Paddock Hill Bend and down the hill, using all of the curb that you can to open up the corner in towards Druids. An amazing overtaking opportunity, but it's so fast in these cars. Go down the hill, get it to the right-hand side of the track to open up Grey Hill Bend, and use all of the curbs, which is something that we'll say quite a bit around this track. A short run, you can make some moves down the inside in towards 30s, but most likely you'll set your rival up to get the run and use all of the slipstream down this back straight. It's quite a long run. Get yourself up into top gear and then decide how brave you want to be in towards Hawthorne Bend. It is going to be almost flat out, bit of a lift in towards these cars. 5th gear as we work our way through there. A little bit of a straight in towards Westfield, and this is where the tricky part of the track comes because it's so bumpy and it is so on the limit. If you back out of here, you're going to be losing tenths of a second, but you only have thousandths to gain. We work our way through Sheen Curve, open it up back up in towards the right hand because you need to do such a fast left hand here in towards Sterling's and up towards the final corner. This is a very tricky one because you can do the up and under to the line like we almost saw Charlie Summers do in the 1600s, but here for Henry Moore, what time is it going to be? Because he needs to go for the pole position to also equal Remy Gilbert on 3 poles for the season, and up towards the front he goes for now. But let's see what it's going to be, because actually maybe it didn't count because Tuolashi, no, it is just updating. It's a 0.0 there, but actually point is going to be 8 thousandths behind for Gilbert.
Yeah, so they are battling for the BPS pole awards. Now, between the two of them, Remy Gilbert coming into this round has 3 pole positions. Henry Moore has 2. Now, if they are joint, if Henry Moore does grab this pole position, Henry Moore will actually win the award because he had the pole position first. So Henry Moore technically has a little bit more at play here. He can grab the pole position and steal it away from Remy Gilbert. But the two of them, of course, they're fighting for track position around here. They're fighting for the title in what is a pretty dark and dingy West Kingsdown in Kent. It is pretty overcast around here. Not sure. I don't think there's any rain or anything around. I did do a little bit of an F4 round around here. Obviously, just running official races as Remy Gilbert's really come off the speed. I think he's just cooling the tyres down. Yeah, I thought I'd chuck myself into it and just have a bit of a fun little drive around. Looked like an official race. Let's give it a go. Who was in the session with me? Henry Moore and Daniel Moore. I did out-qualify both of them. Neither
is that because they were doing last to first challenge?
neither of them set times.
And they were right behind you on the grid.
I did beat Dan in the race because we both retired basically. So we didn't retire, we finished last. We don't talk about that. Henry I think finished 3rd, but we don't talk about that either.
They're just showing you the quality of drivers that we have here. Henry Moore and Gilbert, by the way, 8 thousandths of a second, Lewis, on the first lap. That is absolutely ridiculous considering they just put it out there. They go on the front row. They're almost a 10th to Danny Moreno. It is unbelievable how they just keep on doing this time and time again. We have such a close field, but they just put these laps in and get themselves to the front every time.
Yeah, it's absolutely metronomic between those two. They are constantly fighting towards the front. Of course, I did mention a little bit earlier on the evening, Henry Moore is battling for the FIA Formula 4 Esports Global Championship as well. He's the joint championship leader with Aaron Vasquez, who's one of the highest, if not, I think, is he still the? Either way, he's one of the highest I-rated drivers on this platform. It's incredible that he's fighting that time, but they are locked on points, and Dana Moore is only 7 behind. That's going to be a thrilling showdown there in the final 2 races, but we've got a thrilling one here. 19 points between first and second. And remember, just a race ago, they were locked on points together.
Indeed, it was a bit of a disappointing race for Henry Moore, P10 to P3 for Remy Gilbert. And, it's just one of those things. It ebbs and flows very quickly. And with the point system that we have, if you're outside the top 5 or so, you drop on points very dramatically. So it is very important to be getting the points around here, as the second lap times are going to be coming in. Can Gilbert do anything to get back ahead of his teammate?
I'm not necessarily sure it's been a full push lap. We'll see if Remy Gilbert has been pushing around this circuit or whether they've been going a little bit calm and casual. It's a 31.2. They've spent 2 laps bringing the tyres back into the window, and now it's full push time for Remy Gilbert to try and steal away the BPS pole position. Not just the single pole for this, but also the BPS pole award as well. Gilbert has all of the work to do as he works his way through the first sector, going through Graham Hill Bend and then into the left-hander at Surtees, where everything gets so tricky on the apex. The rear end constantly wants to step out and just shift up into 4th gear. Looked like a decent and tidy first sector there from Remy Gilbert, and he is a couple of hundredths faster than Henry Moore.
Oh my word, hundredths here, thousandths there, so tight in this championship battle. But it's not really tight in terms of the points, because 19 points, I mean, that is a lot. Gilbert should be thinking positively coming into this, because he knows he can have a couple of places ahead of him if it comes down to that. And very interesting, Lewis, that they do 2 cooldown laps, because that puts a lot of pressure on this final lap here to try and get the lap time.
That's what they did at Zandvoort, and it worked so well. Henry Moore is going to come up towards the line. I think it'll be before Remy Gilbert, and will set the benchmark time. The sectors, they're split by almost nothing. 21.993 for Henry Moore. I think it's going to be faster, though, from Remy Gilbert. It's a 21.890 for Remy Gilbert to steal away the BPS pole position and the BPS pole award as well. A 4th BPS pole for Remy Gilbert, who has had top 10s. I think it's in the last 20 races in this championship.
And that is also 4 pole positions in a row. Just showing you. And previous to that, it was 2 second places in a row. So in the last 6 races, he's been either first or second. That is absolutely ridiculous and shows the consistency as Janae goes up into 3rd place. That is a lot better from him after a slightly difficult season.
Just simply breathtaking. The last time, by the way, that Remy Gilbert didn't finish in the top 10, it was the 2nd race at Alton Park last year. That was round 8 of the championship. So it is 22 consecutive races in the top 10. Is that not crazy?
Certainly is, considering the closeness of this championship and the carnage that goes on as well. There's always an incident here or there in this championship, so that is just utterly ridiculous, to be honest. And also for Gilbert, I mean, that's a 75% chance this season of him being on the front row. 75% in a field like this. That is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's kind of taking the mick, isn't it? It's a bit of a joke, but again, he's been consistent. He has been a different beast this season. I spoke about it in the interview at Zandvoort just a week ago when we caught up with Remy Gilbert after another one of those podiums, where basically saying to him how he's really stepped up in form this round or this season rather. And again, to look at that, he's had, what is it? It's 11 podiums this season. He's had 19 podiums in total. 11 of those podiums have come from this season. His podium overall percentage in 45 races is 42.2%.
That's crazy.
Now, Henry's is higher, to give him his credit, but 42.2%, considering he has grown as a driver up until this point, is crazy.
And you're saying about the podiums this season, so the first round of the season, he was 6th and 7th. We weren't even thinking about him for the championship. It's all Henry Moore this, Henry Moore that. Since then, every single race, bar one, the reverse grid at Alton Park, which is always a crazy race, every single race apart from that, he's been on the podium. What a streak.
Well, we've got 28 cars to get through, and it is a Team Benek front row. Once again, it's Remy Gilbert and Henry Moore first and second. Charles Genet in third position with Danny Moreno, Leo Brown in fifth, and Augustin Torlashi in sixth position. TC Esports looking good to maybe steal away second in the title race. Gergo Bowdy and Jonathan Riley will make it all Scuderia Ferrari HP Esports on row number 4 with Shomi Shintani and Iggy Smith. Will Murdoch and Noah Asbalderston in 12th position. Pedro Silva, welcome to the championship again, and of course Will Chadwick, the lone driver, we believe, for Hymo, sets by EMM. Corey Lane in 15th position. Connor Jupp in 16th for Alpine. Then it's Drive Lounges, Harding and Herman starting with BS Competition in 18th position. Still 10 more cars to go through as we'll fly our way through. Ham Jacob Molat, then of course Alexander Strabel, Archie Heron, Izzy Matthews, Anna Maria Di Pasquale, and of course Oliver Stone. 4.8 seconds off the pole, that's not great. I think even I could have beaten that one. Pablo Espez in 25th position. No lap time set for the Rock Red Bull Racing Esports drivers as Diana Perez, Aztecs, Ryan McAuliffe, or G2's Nathan Tague. So they'll put themselves into position. I think this is a must-win race for Henry Moore, is it not? For Remy Gilbert, he's got 19 points to play with.
Exactly. This is getting close. This is getting close. Because the issue is, even if he comes second, that's 5 points because of the gap. That's 5 points, which means 24 points in the final race. This is getting tight.
We're ready. 20 minutes onto the clock. The penultimate race of 2025 is about ready to go as we begin racing on championship night. And it is Remy Gilbert who will lead away from pole position. It is Henry Moore trying to find his way through into the race lead in a must-win race for the Team Fenwick driver. What are the instructions behind the scenes from Seb Hawkins to these two? Surely it's just do battle here. They've already secured the team's championship, and Gilbert has secured the race lead through the opening couple of corners.
We've already lost a couple of drivers. Ollie Stone, Izzy Matthews having some issues at the back of the field, dropping down up at Druids Bend. It's very single file for the top half of the field, though, as they work away through Surtees. It goes quite a way down before we start getting some side-by-side action with Archie Heron getting Molat there. So top 17 all single file.
Yeah, let's see where there is going to be a move, or if the top two are going to try and check away from the field, which is certainly possible between these two. Slipstream, though, it is pretty potent around here, even around here. Of course, you can try and find those moves to this midpoint of the circuit, but it's a little bit tricky. That opening lap going through Hawthorns could be a bit understeery, but for the most part, in the dirty air, this part can feel a bit lethargic in general. They work their way through the penultimate corner, and then the run down towards Clearways, the final turn. It is Gilbert who is going to lead the opening lap of the night, the championship leader, looking to steal away the title.
Yeah, this would be quite something. After all the talk of his teammate, coming out with the championship would be quite remarkable indeed. We've got Janae in third place. We've got Leo Brown in fourth position. He's generally up there, to be honest. He's always had some good fights in that Drive Lounge entry, and then in behind any big sends in towards Druids this time around. We've got the TC Esports, by the way, for them. That is a big one in terms of their championship, trying to get up into what would that be? That would be a second place in the championship in the teams, because Chadwick is down in 21st place.
Yeah, obviously has dropped backwards from, was it 14th that he started, so things not going the way of the high most sales by EMM team, and this is a difficult circuit, and it does bite for TC Esports. Points will be looking good for them to steal away second in the championship, and obviously they'd have an advantage when it comes to starting position in the second race of the night. That's what I'm talking about that understeer and how the cars can feel lethargic. That was behind his teammate, of course, Danny Moreno, who runs in 5th position. Just picked up a load of understeer, and now Jonathan Riley is knocking at the door.
This is such tense racing around here, and that's opened up a big gap ahead, so not getting much slipstream. A lot better for the Ferrari boys, actually, to be honest. But up inside the top 8, a lot more what we used to see in them last season. But especially Riley has been struggling quite a bit as we come out to start another lap. It looks like Tanashi is going to be able to hold on with side-by-side a little bit up ahead. It looks like it's Janae trying to get involved, but actually not quite going for Henry Moore just yet, as Gilbert sets the fastest lap as well, but Janae takes it back.
Yeah, this is, like I say, a bit awkward here for Henry Moore. He wants to attack his teammate, but I'm pretty sure he'll be under strict instructions not to until there is a gap forming between them and the rest of the field. Gogo Bowding goes for a little bit of a look down the inside of Augustin Torlashi, picks up a little bit of the grass on the right-hand side, and then flicks it through what I think is a horrendous line going through Graham Hill Bend. It is perfectly acceptable because it's within the track limits of iRacing. The fact that that is allowed, though, is beyond the joke.
Certainly is. The track limits are definitely a bit wonky around here as we're getting a big set up. Exactly, we're getting a big set up the inside. That's Gogo Baldi getting Tolashi. That's for 6th position. Actually, Riley's going to be thinking about it. Could be a double Ferrari move up the inside in towards Westfield Bend, just off camera, but no, he doesn't get through, and that's going to now open up the door for Shintani, but no, he doesn't do so. In the background, getting a big battle. This is Smith getting past Murdoch, and as Boulderstone thinking about going down the inside of Sheens, as Murdoch there is up now up the inside of Sterling's. Big send on the brakes, keeps that one just about, but what a move. And also, by the way, at this moment, TC Esports will be easily taking 2nd place in the championship.
Yeah, and I think that might be the case for the rest of the evening, that we might see TC Esports steal that way. What a superb story that has been for Thibaut Courtois' esports team. They've been absolutely fantastic this season. Came out of nowhere, and they really surprised in that opening round at Donington Park, which you think should be the season finale. You are wrong, but just going to throw that out a couple more times. A few drivers making some mistakes here through the opening corner. I think that might have been Connor Jupp. We've got Kieran Harding as well. It was also, I think it might have been, did I say Corey Lean? I'm not actually, it would have been Corey Lean going out wide at the opening corner at Paddock Hill Bend.
Just pushing. Yeah, no, that was a half joke, but no, it's just a crazy circuit, Lewis. That was my point. Crazy circuit to have there's a total crazy. That's a big set. I think it's Heron getting sent out absolutely wide. So it's actually Moller getting sent out wide. That is Will Chadwick doing his best to come back. P19. These are some important positions because he needs to get back up into the big points if he wants to have any chance of getting his team in 2nd place. It's 1v2 in that regard. He does have the leads though by 20 odd points coming into this, but that's a lot to overcome with just one driver.
Don't worry, I will always throw you under the bus where possible, especially when you're trying to go for the 15 out of 10 opinion and you actually settle on a 0 out of 10 opinion. There was a slide off the circuit though for Shoma Shintani, fresh off of his first victory in British Formula 4 Esports. Also some superb drives in FA F4 Esports Global, and unfortunately, I will throw it out there, he did get a disqualification in the opening race of British Formula 4 Esports back in Tampa, but we don't talk about that. He did get the victory in the 2nd race. That's the important bit, as Tolashi will fend off and work his way back through on Gogo Baldi.
This is a nice battle. He's opening up a huge gap to Moreno. So it's, what's that, a top 5 breakaway now. We've got these 3 cars in behind with Tolashi, the 2 Ferrari cars of Baldi and Riley. Riley going way out wide there on the exit of Graham Hill. So Tolashi is looking racy. It wasn't the floodgates opening with Baldi getting past. It was just a standard overtake. But this is looking good to hold on to some strong points.
Yeah, this is some tense fighting around here, where it's not tense when it comes to fighting, but more tense when it just comes to the tension. At the front between Remy Gilbert and Henry Moore. I wonder how that one is going to unfold. Oh, well, there we go. That's how that one's going to unfold. Henry Moore says, I ain't waiting anymore, Chief. See ya. Straight down the inside at Westfield Bend. Side by side takes them through the likes of Sheen and then into the penultimate corner at Sterling. Remy Gilbert, though, trying to fend him off as well. Oh, perfect space being given between the top 2. Henry Moore with the inside line going into clearways. And I'm sure Seb Hawkins' heart rate, team manager of Bennett, has gone through the roof.
Oh, further contact is made. Look at Sinead pushing his way through. So somehow it's now Henry Moore is the one being pushed out. So this is not good for him. It's actually the other way around. Sorry, the 77 Moore leads. It's actually going to be Gilbert. He's pushed out wide. 3 cars are going to go through potentially. This is big points lost now. So Moore, after getting through way back when at Westfield Bend, now has 3 cars between him and his championship rival.
Costly mistake from Giles Genet, but not costly for him. Costly for championship leader Remy Gilbert. And that championship lead will be dropping like a stone. 19 points coming into this round, and it will be dropping through the roof. The thing is, though, as we had back in Zandvoort, when Henry Moore stole away that victory in that amazing drag race to the line, one advantage comes for Remy Gilbert, where he'll be starting from a better position in race number 2. Now, of course, I'm not saying that you should play games and drop back behind your teammate and try and do this for better, blah, 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 this, that, and the other, because that stuff doesn't work. What I am saying, though, is that there is a big gap between them, which could actually end up serving as an advantage to Gilbert.
As far as my maths go, we're tied on points as well with Gilbert and Henry Moore, especially with the fastest lap for Moore. So this is how close it is. Just 3 cars in between them is going to swap around a 19-point gap. So 19 points does sound a lot, but the point system that we have it can change very, very quickly. That is how, as you were just mentioning, the reverse grid race back at Knock Hill, Henry Moore lost so many, or example I should say, Henry Moore lost so many points just because he got stuck in the train. Gilbert this time around might be in a similar situation, and if we're tied coming to the final race, what a day we could be seeing here.
Yeah. Oh, there comes a look though down the inside. Remy Gilbert will find his way into fourth and back into the championship lead. You're absolutely right. To give you the points, at least for the top 5, I'm not going to list through all of them. Top 20 score points. It's 45 points for a victory, 39 for second, 34 for third, 30 for fourth, and 27 for 5th place. And there is also the bonus point for the fastest lap. So at the moment, Remy Gilbert would be scoring 30 points with his 4th position, but Henry Moore would be scoring 46 because he has the race lead, and he's highlighted in blue on your leaderboard there because he also has the fastest lap as well. So as much as Remy Gilbert's stolen away the BPS Pole Award this season, I'm pretty sure Henry Moore wants to steal away something a little bit more potent.
This is so good. What a championship this is. We do love a bit of British F4 Esports here in the autumn, well, almost turning into the winter days, but it's very hot out there on the circuit. Moore he's not going to have an easy victory though. Janae is there. He's looking fast, and to be fair, for what would be one of his best showings here in the season, especially this is not reverse grid race, this is pure pace from the 188, and also he's got Leo Brown behind him. This is looking to be an awesome race. About halfway through this first race, and things are changing very quickly. Leo Brown dives up the inside in towards Paddock Hill Bend. That's a late send, but he's got Janae up into second.
Now this is where things get very interesting. Charles Janae going to look back to the inside. Bit of a look coming in from Remy Gilbert. Now Leo Brown, Drive Lounge Racing Association. Of course, they're linked between Leo Brown's Drive Lounge Racing and, of course, Team Bennett. You'll see some Drive Lounge logos on the side of the Team Bennett cars. Sister teams between the pair of them. The association shared and, of course, run by Seb Hawkins. I wonder what the call's like here between Leo Brown. How'd you do it? Are you going to get involved in the title? Do you know what? Actually, from what I've seen from Leo over the last couple of years in this championship, I don't even care about that one bit. He's got his own stuff to fight for here.
And he certainly fought, I think it was Henry a couple of races ago as well. So, it was actually back in Knock Hill, wasn't he? He was fighting, and that was frustrating Henry in that race. So he's definitely going to do it. And it's one of those things, especially having an association, it's not like he can not overtake Henry, because then that also keeps a position from Remy. So it doesn't work in either direction. That means he's not going to hold up Remy either. So it's one of those situations. He's just going to have to fight and battle for his position. 9 minutes remain, and Moore is starting to pull away by a car length, but that's not much around him.
Yeah, that slipstream is being dished out comfortably to the front wing of Leo Brown, who closes and closes and closes. I remember when Leo Brown took his first victory in this championship. It was around the circuit, if memory serves him, when it was Brands Indy, of course, the circuit, but not really the circuit. He's a quality driver. We've seen that time and time again from Leo Brown over the years. I think on that day he did beat, I think it was a 1-2 for Gil, was it? Because was it last year? Who am I? Yeah, it was last year. And I'm pretty sure it was a 1-2 for Gil. I'm pretty sure it was Remy Gilbert in second. How the times have changed between those two teams, as Iggy Smith will drop a position to Noah Balderston, who will work his way through into the top 10.
And I tell you what, Chadwick is getting closer and closer. It's still going to be 18 points, the advantage for TC Esports coming to the final race, which is going to be so difficult to overcome for Chadwick. But he's getting some points back, and he's working his way up. He's down about P20 something earlier in this race. P14, that's a lot more like it. It's just, again, with the point system, there's so many points for offer. When you have two drivers out there, the likes of TC Esports in 5th and 6th place, you're just taking a whole bucket load of points.
I did just get a message from Seb Hawkins. It's full send between the team. That's exactly what I want to hear. That is exactly what I want to hear. Probably not what Henry Moore wants to hear right now, but I completely agree. Look, you've already got the team's championship settled up. Let's just let the drivers fight. And here is some fighting coming in for Remy Gilbert, trying to get himself back onto the podium. A look for an up and under here on a slightly damaged front wing of Charles Genet, who's defensive going into Druids.
This is heating up. Gilbert is in the lead by 3 points as he regained 4th position. He dropped down to 5th, regained 4th. That is enough for him to have a 3-point lead coming in towards the final race of the season, but another position will certainly help. Let's see if he can get Genet. He's slowing him down quite a lot though, so he's letting Leo Brown get away. A bit less slipstream for Genet as he work around the hill. By the way, Genet's only got 1 top 5 all season.
I know, and that's incredible. And it was a 5th place. It's not a podium. He's looking for his first podium in the championship, but the pressure for that is only going to be building. He's got Remy Gilbert behind. He's got Danny Moreno. He's got Augustin Torlaschi. Not that far behind is Gergo Bowdy, although the two Ferraris not going side by side. I think it might be a lift there from Jonathan Riley. 7th and 8th, by the way, is a good result for the Scuderia Ferrari HP Esports team, who have been very up and down this season. We have seen a podium from Gergo Bowdy, and it's not been an ideal season for them, of course, after Graham Carroll's title victory last season. There's been some up and downs to them this season, but it feels like it's been more downs than ups.
Oh, absolutely. They've struggled. They are 5th place in the standings. They're just ahead of Aston Martin and Aramco as it stands by 5 points, so they are looking a lot better. Let's see how this one works. In towards Druids. Around the outside is going to be for Gilbert. That is opening up the door to Moreno to try and get it down the inside. Obviously, that retakes the outside line, swipe across the nose from Gilbert as he confidently takes that 4th position, but this is very tight. He doesn't want to get taken out like what we saw with Brownlee back in the 1600s.
Yeah, as we're having here with Remy Gilbert in 4th position, just a reminder for the championship race at present with Henry Moore in position, taking victory and the fastest lap as well. There would be 3 points between 1st and 2nd heading into one final tussle around West Kingsdown and our fight for the championship. For Remy Gilbert, it would be an important podium if he can steal it away from Charles Genet. It does seem as though Leo Brown has run away, and there is a big gap that has formed. Don't rule that one out, by the way, because Leo Brown could steal that victory away from Henry Moore if there is any mistake coming in for Moore.
Yeah, he hasn't quite had the season they would have wanted. He has got a 1 win and 3 second, or this would be his 3rd second position, but let's see how this one goes. Less than 5 minutes remain, and it is getting close. Gilbert has been working this one lap after lap, trying to find something. We come over the crest. It's the outside line for him. He's going to be slowing Genet down. He's going to try and get the up and under of the inside line to Druids. He's half done it, but it's covered off by Genet in towards the braking zone. He's now got to watch out because Danny Moreno almost thinks about making it 3 wide in towards the braking zone, but Genet holds on once more, and every time they do this, they lose a couple of tenths to the top 2.
Yeah, that damage on the front wing for Genet, he's dealing with it really well. Probably doesn't really know that it's there, but it will be a little bit noticeable in that middle sector. When you go through the corners, there will be a little bit more understeer in Genet's car. Back on board with Danny Moreno, who could effectively go full attack here. He's got his teammate Augustin Torlaschi behind, but Gergo Bowdy has closed his way into this fight here, into the fight for the final step on the podium. Moreno almost thought about getting a bit of a look down the inside, going into Westfield Bend. All the way around the outside comes Remy Gilbert. Could he do it though? Into Westfield Bend. They go through they go through Westfield Bend now, and the side-by-side remains. Danny Moreno trying to make it 3 wide going through Dingle-Dale. That one was never going to work. To the outside, putting it all on the table though. Remy Gilbert trying to steal away the podium, ran out wide there going through Sterling, and Remy Gilbert will steal away 3rd place. What an epic fight.
And depending how close we get later, those extra couple of points could be so crucial. And what a risk it was just to get us 4 points that he's gained from that. But what a risk to get those 4 points. And as it stands, it's now 7 points between him and Henry Moore. Let's see how many positions Genet is going to drop back as the 2 TC cars line up to try and get past him. It's going to be Gilbert pulling away from this battle as well. As now it's actually going to be Gergo Bowdy driving up the inside, trying to get Moreno now, who's dropped back by his teammates. So Torlaschi has got through. Now Moreno is defending on the outside of Graham Hill Bend, and Jonathan Riley's going to get involved.
7th consecutive podium potentially up for grabs here for Remy Gilbert, who I think has checked away enough. The side-by-side between the TC Esports duo. Danny Moreno will retake over the lead of that fight, but now Gergo Bowdy will be dragging himself alongside the TC Esports Cup of Augustin Torlaschi. Ferrari on the right-hand side, TC Esports on the left, the slipstream being given there to Torlaschi as Moreno then had to sweep back over to give it to Gergo Bowdy as they work their way through Hawthorns, now into Westfield Bend. The right-hander out wide and into the dirty part of the circuit goes Gergo Bowdy off the road. So easy to do. And look at the positions that have been lost. He's not even in the top 10 anymore.
Now with all of the fighting, it's Murdoch, it's Balderston and Iggy Smith who's caught up. And now, as you say, have got past him, and he's way down into 11th place. Now Will Chadwick, who's up into 12th place, a couple of positions behind. It is all changed every single lap here at Brands Hatch, which is definitely the best track to finish a season on. No doubt about that.
Yeah, exactly. Now you're getting it. Now you're getting it. I know it wasn't a joke. I know you were deadly serious. But this is surely changing your opinion. This is a fantastic start to our season finale. It's such a shame that in less than an hour's time we'll be saying goodbye to the British Formula 4 Esports Championship for another year. It's always an epic contest, and this year has been no different. We've had some great title races, some great title fights. Luke McEwen winning the opening couple, the second of those championships being won by a solid 0 points, I'll have you know, back in 2023. We had Graham Carroll win it just a year ago. We're looking for our third different champion in 4 years. As to which one it's going to be, we are not sure. Henry Moore will be closing down some of that margin, but maybe not by as much as he would think earlier on in the race when Remy Gilbert was down outside of the, well, basically off the podium in 4th and 5th position. As the damage on the front wing for Charles Genet, I think it is causing its fair share of problems. A minute left to go. Penultimate lap we're on. Final lap we're about to begin.
Indeed, we're looking at 17 points advantage for TC over Hymo in second place in the championship there. We're looking at 7 points in Gilbert and Moore, but we have 1 lap to go. Is there going to be any changes in this first race of the day? Moore leads. He's got the fastest lap. Gilbert chasing down less than half a second, and Leo Brown knows what it's like to win a race in this championship, but has he got enough to chase down? They both run wide off into the gravel, and it is getting very tense out there. Gilbert is also settled for third place with Moreno over 2 seconds behind.
Yeah, indeed. This is, like I say, it's a frantic position to be in. It's a great one, though, for Henry Moore. You can see Leo Brown getting more and more frustrated, as if he's trying to play the part of Henry Moore in a qualifying lap. The amount of frustration we saw out of him this season, he's doing the duty in the race. Henry Moore, by the way, with that victory back in Zandvoort, did go #1 on the all-time winners list. He's got 9 victories now. He's trying to extend it to a 10th.
This is quite a remarkable season. The stats that we've been seeing, the records that we've been seeing this season just gets higher. We have just 3-4 corners left. Sinead Tolashi there batting for 5th place, but up towards the front. It is Moore trying to hold on, and it's a crucial win for him. It's not enough to regain the championship lead, but it's taking 12 points away from Gilbert.
Yeah, the championship lead will be closing up. Just 7 points heading into one final race here at Brands Hatch. Henry Moore through the final corner to take a 6th victory this season, a 10th one overall. The all-time winners list is being extended once more by Henry Moore as he tries to close down the championship lead. Leo Brown will be in 2nd position behind, and Remy Gilbert will make it 7 consecutive podiums as an incredible drag race to the line there. Noah Balderston trying to make it 3 wide there and sneak his way past Will Murdoch, whilst Jonathan Riley and Augustin Tolashi were doing battle, and Riley was able to steal that away from the TC Esports driver. Incredible scenes.
Best race of the season for Jonathan Riley, who is basically last or second to last in the drivers who've done all but one race this season. He's not had a single top 10. In fact, he's not even had a top 15 to his name, and now he gets up in there in 6th place. So that is a much better end to the season for him, and also just in general with Ferrari looking a lot better to try and get 5th place in the constructors.
I'm going to say best race of the season. I'm like, mate, you're not giving Zandvoort race 1 enough credit. That race was absolutely epic. With that drag race to the line. We've had a couple of good races this season, let me tell you, but 15 races are down. 1 is left to go, and it is the reverse grid race. Oh, there's going to be some fingers crossed for some big numbers, but not Henry Moore, and he's going to get it perfect. It is going to be 5 cars reversed, the smallest possible, as Henry Moore tries to find the championship. Wow, he'd love to hear that. We'll talk to him in a second, and our top 3 as well. It's Moore from Brown, from Gilbert, Moreno and Genet, the 5 cars that will be reversed in our season finale race. Jonathan Riley, Augustin Tolashi, Will Murdoch, Noah Balderston and Gergo Bowd in the top 10, with the fastest lap going the way of Henry Moore. Iggy Smith, Chadwick, Herman, Espes, Jupp did manage to get his way up the order. I think he's finished qualified in 22nd position, so a decent bit of work there. Ollie Stone did drop back and then worked his way back forward to 16th position. Pedro Silva, Shoma Shintani dropped down the order again, 18th position for him. Archie Heron and Nathan Tate to the back of the field up to 20th position. Ryan McAuliffe will finish in 21st with Diana Perez, Izzy Matthews, Di Pasquale, Harding, and then a couple of laps down was Corey Aline. 2 retirements from the race being Hans Jakob Mollat and, of course, Alexandra Strabel. Let's catch up, though, with our top finishers in the race, starting with, and again, they probably are talking, so I'm literally going to drag them in mid-conversation. Prepare your ears. Here comes in Henry Moore, who, of course, in contention for the championship, a 10th victory in British Formula 4 Esports for you. Absolutely incredible. You look pretty happy across the line. look, that's a great race from you. You did all you could.
Yeah, exactly. I think after a pretty scruffy lap in qualifying for I don't even know how many times I've done it this season. I think it was a good recovery. Just made the move when I needed to, and just watched a bit of stuff happen behind, I guess. Just managed the gap to Leo at the end. And yeah, pretty decent race 1, and now it's all to play for in race 2.
It's fine. You're saving all your great qualifying laps for the FIA Formula 4 Esports Global Championship that you're also battling for, as well as here in British Formula 4 Esports. Got some good news for you. Reverse grid number. It's 5. It is the smallest number that we have possible. So you'll be starting from 5th position, just a couple behind Remy Gilbert. How do you feel about that and your chance to work your way through into another victory?
At the end of the day, look, it's Brands GP, so anything can really happen. It's obviously really narrow, and you got the fast corners, so you don't know what's going to happen. There could be a bit of netcode, dare I say it. But yeah, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. I'll do all I can, but I don't know what the points difference is now.
I can tell you that in just a minute. 7 points between yourself and Remy. You are 7 behind. 512 plays 519. One of the other things about this interesting dynamic, obviously you're battling your teammate. Now, obviously, I've had conversation with Sev, obviously you definitely have, that there isn't really any game plan. It's just go out, best driver wins. You've already got the team's championship sewn up. Leo Brown, one of the sister teammates, is also in there as well. What's that like as a dynamic in that group? Because that's got to be quite tough to kind of juggle, because obviously you don't want to make contact with your teammate.
No, you never want to make contact with your teammate, especially when we're obviously all such close friends. But yeah, British Championship's on the line now, so obviously there won't be anything outrageous, but I will give it my all now.
One final race left for you this season. Best of luck, Henry, and we'll see if we'll catch up with you in the near future.
Cheers, guys.
We'll definitely hear from him at some point anyway, because obviously we'll have our top 3 in the championship dragged into here, but will it be also with a podium interview as well? Next up, it'll be Leo Brown to drag in here. You were on the rear wing of Henry all the way through that race. You were trying to find your way through. Couldn't quite do it, though, on that last lap. Because see how disappointed you were getting on the camera. You just couldn't quite get that run, but it just proves you're throwing everything at it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I really wanted to win that, starting in 5th, I thought I had quite a good start, made some calculated moves, and then, yeah, to be fair to Henry, he was really quick, and I just made one too many mistakes. Once I'd followed for that long as well, the tyre was a little bit sort of hot as well. But yeah, I just made one too many mistakes, so stopped me having a chance of the win there. But yeah, credit to Henry, drove a really good race, and yeah, happy with P2.
Yeah, they're all obviously fighting for the championship between the top 2. You, though, are fighting for a potential of 3rd position, which I think you can steal away from Matt Caruana with a victory, because obviously he's not raced this evening. You're in a tight fight with Danny Moreno as well. Is that your focus this evening, or is it literally just whatever I can get, whatever we can get as a team in Drive Lounge and such?
Yeah, I didn't really come into the championship wanting to sort of battle for a 3rd position, so... yeah, as much as I'm wary of Remy and Henry in the championship, I'm here for myself at the end of the day, without hopefully ruining anything of their hopes, So yeah, I'm here to win myself, and hopefully elevate Drive Lounge as much as I can. And yeah, obviously myself in the championship in regards to Matt and Danny, but I think that the championship picture slipped away quite a few rounds ago, unfortunately. So yeah, that's my take on it.
Well, I can see that you're loading into the track. We'll not take up any more of your time. Get yourself ready for the season finale, where you'll be starting from 4th position. Best of luck.
Perfect. Cheers, guys.
There we go. And also, definitely not wanting to steal away too much time, we're going to drag in Remy for a quick interview here, because obviously I know you want to get straight back out onto the circuit and get yourself ready. A 7th consecutive podium, yet another one this season. You just keep adding them up. You've got the championship lead by 7 points. What is going through your mind in this final race of the season?
I think just got to try and stay ahead of Henry, I guess. I'm not sure. Can you tell me what the reverse grid is? Or
it's 5, so you'll be starting from 3rd place.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I got hit out the last corner, and then hit again at T1, which kind of ruined the race for me. I got wing damage, and then it was quite difficult to make my way back through. But I was quite lucky to actually even finish third, to be honest. Which, yeah, it's not too bad though. But yeah, we'll just have to give it our all for this last race, and yeah, just see what we can do.
Obviously, this is a big championship to be taking part here in the British Formula 4 Esports Championship. A lot of our viewers here I'm going to be realistic here, never going to be able to compete for a championship like this. What has it been like the week, the build up to this? What has it been like from your perspective as a proper championship protagonist, someone trying to fight to steal this title away?
Well, I'll go into I wasn't really trying to think about the championship too much. I was sort of just thinking, just try and make sure my pace is good for brands, and you know, if my pace is good, I should be able to do good results. I think my quality had a pretty good quality lap, which helped, but yeah, I mean, for the second race, I mean, just got to try and get to the front and hold it there, really.
Well, we're going to let you have a little bit of a moment of reflection before our season finale. Remy, best of luck, and we'll catch up with you soon.
Thank you very much.
There we go. Cameron, Roger, those are some intense interviews, and I'm feeling nervous for them. This is going to be a cracking season finale. You've run some points, though. Give me the lowdown. What's actually going on here?
So the situation is Henry Moore with a win and fastest lap, with Gilbert in second place, equal points.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, Henry Moore's starting behind Remy by 4 places, so quite a bit. So the issue for Henry is, even if he finishes ahead of Remy, he really needs some cars in there, because it's got to be the win plus the fastest lap. Him getting the fastest lap while doing those overtakes from 5th position might be quite difficult. So, yeah, it's going to be pretty touch and go. He really needs to get ahead of Gilbert and then have a couple of drivers getting in the mix, but it is tight. The win, fastest lap, second place, being equal points. I mean, that's really as close as you want it coming into the final race.
I'm not going to lie. This is, honestly, as a commentator, this is amazing. I absolutely love this. Yeah, we come into these season finals and we start, like, even we as commentators start feeling nervous and start feeling that almost like pit of your stomach feeling. I can't imagine what the feeling is like for Henry Moore and Remy Gilbert out there. This isn't some little fun Sunday league that we're all taking part in and just having a little good time. Maybe there's a couple of prizes up for grabs and stuff. This is a proper championship, well respected. Night of Champions, we've seen the drivers in the past go to all the bow tie event and all this, that, and the other. Like, this is proper racing.
Absolutely, and the fact that it's 2 teammates as well, I love that, because as you say, the team manager Seb is going to be biting every nail on his body watching this race, because he knows one of his drivers is going to win, but he doesn't want there to be a crash. He wants there to be, all the nice pictures at the end of it. And he wants to have 2 friends at the end of it to go for the next championship. They don't want to have a falling out here fighting over this one. So he's got a lot on the line, despite the team's championship being wrapped up.
I don't think there's going to be... I agree with what Henry was saying in his interview. I think we're going to see them get a little bit sendy on each other, but I don't think it's going to be anything over the line. The only thing that I can guarantee you, though, is one driver is going to leave this round very happy, and the other driver is going to leave this round very disappointed. As to which one it's going to be, I don't know. But of course, we've got 20 minutes to decide it. Of course, there's other things to fight for. There's loads of other drivers that are fighting to get there and here and in whatever in the championship. Charles Genet looking for his first podium and all of that, was involved in that fight and really put on a good display. There's a lot going on. The battle for second in the team's championship as well. None of this is necessarily settled. We've got so much up in the air. The Drivers' Championship is just the tip of the iceberg here.
It certainly is. I can't wait to see these battles, because if you have a look at the exact points, in the end, Will Chadwick did such a good job, and it's just 14 points between him and TC Sport. Yes, he's on the back foot, but he's probably going to score more than 14 points in this race. So if there's any issues to the TC Sports, there's half an opportunity he can still sneak second place. And it's getting very close with Ferrari and Aston Martin for 5th place. There's only 11 points there as well, with 2 of the big, F1 teams coming into this. So it is tight out there, and all the drivers are fighting hard.
Yeah, obviously with Jaime Sales by EMM, Matt Caruana absent this round. He's over in the US. I think it was the Skip Barber he's over there with. honestly, big, obviously, congrats, best of luck to Caruana. Disappointing that he's not here this round, but totally understandable qualifying for that and going through there. He's a busy man in the sim racing world. Obviously, last year he missed around because he was going over to the FIA Motorsport Games as well. He's clearly a well sought after character, isn't he?
Oh, he certainly is, and to be honest, I think he's going to have a very good career at his side. And to be honest, he might even get third place in the championship because I'm trying to do the quick maths on it. I think he's actually good for third place in the championship with there being, well, basically because there's 41 points between him and Danny Moreno coming into this. So Danny basically needs to win the race or that's it. So Caruana getting third place despite missing two races, one round, two races. I think he should be pretty happy with that.
I've got a couple of questions here. Let's just go. I didn't want to talk too much stats to Remy because obviously, I'm sure he's trying to get his eyes focused on the race. I think he wants all the stats flying around. He is now joint number one on the all-time when it comes to most races list. I was going to say all-time winners, but obviously no. He's done 46 races. This will be his 47th, so he'll be going to the top of that. The most experienced driver on the grid. Would you, Cameron Roger, like to take a guess how many races he's retired in the British F4 Esports Championship? Because it's not many.
How many seasons done? Like 4 seasons?
He's done all
three?
4. Oh, sorry, he's done 3 seasons. He's done the last. He's done 2023, 4, and 5, and the entirety of each. How many retirements in all that time?
2.
Cracking guess. Spot on. 47 races he'll be going into in this race, and in the 46 races that he's done before this, he has retired from just 1 race. That is absolutely insane.
That is, I mean, that just shows you the consistency, which is why he's there. Because at the end of the day, we might finish. There's a chance that we might finish this season with Henry on 7 wins and Gilbert on 2, and Gilbert still winning the championship. That would be quite remarkable.
Right, deep breath here because we've got to get through all these. Giles Genet will start from the reverse grid pole with Danny Moreno, Remy Gilbert, our championship leader from 3rd, Leo Brown in 4th position, Henry Moore trying to steal away the title in 5th position with Jonathan Riley in 6th. Then it's Torlashi, Murdoch, Esbalderston, Baldy, Smith and Chadwick trying to get 2nd in the teams championship. Lucas Herman in 13th position with Pablo Espez for Williams Sim Racing, Connor Jupp, Ollie Stone, Pedro Silva and Shoma Shintani after a disappointing race down in 18th position. Archie Heron with Nathan Tague up the order in 20th with McAuliffe, Perez, Matthews, Di Pasquale, and the final few rows of the grid being Harding, Elaine, Molat and Strabel. We have 28 cars in position. We have got a race ahead of us. 20 minutes will be put onto the timer and we have a title to decide. Just 7 points separates our top 2 in the title race, Remy Gilbert ahead of Henry Moore, and it will be decided in 20 minutes time. We go into battle here at Brands Hatch Grand Prix, and it is Giles Genet from the final reverse grid pole of the season leading us down into turn 1. Danny Moreno with a look down the inside for TC Esports, and no switches inside that top 5. Everyone goes calmly into the second corner at Druids, with Remy Gilbert getting a bit aggressive, trying to look to the outside of Danny Moreno, but unable to find his way through. There is a slide and a bit of a spin coming in for Gergo Bowley for the Scuderia Ferrari HP Esports team, but it is Giles Genet leading.
There's actually Jonathan Riley dropping down. He's gone to the back of the pack as well. That's big for Aston Martin and Ferrari in their championship battle. We work our way through Surtees with side-by-side a couple of times of wiggles going around. Everyone in the top 5 or 6 is pretty clean now. And remember, Moreno and Tolashi, that is important for them, getting 2nd for TC Esports as well. A lot of numbers out there on the track, but Genet leads at the front.
Yeah, this is crazy, and again, the heart rate's rising for this driver here. For Henry Moore as well behind, and for Seb Hawkins, team manager. I'm sure we'll be catching up with him as well a little bit later on this evening as they fire their way through Sterling's. A little bit wide there was Remy Gilbert. That's not too bad. Got to remember there's a lot of dirty air being picked off by these cars. Leo Brown under a lot of pressure by Henry Moore as a second separates the top 5, heading down into clearways to complete the first lap of the final race. Giles Genet leads from Moreno, leads from Gilbert, from Moore, from Brown and then Moore. Bit of a mistake from Moreno, who went out a little bit wide at clearways. Could potentially open up an opportunity here for Remy Gilbert to sneak one up the inside, going down to the paddock hill. Aggressive for the championship leader, who might just sneak his way through.
And as long as he's ahead of Henry Moore, this is important, so he doesn't need to necessarily take this risk, but he's doing so. He's got up in second place. Leo Brown is trying to follow his way through. He's now going to the outside, down in towards Graham Hill Bend, and he's just going to think about it. That's going to open the door actually to Henry Moore. Almost contact between the pair as we work our way down towards Surtees. Moore covers that one off. Oh, huge crash. 3 cars involved on the exit of Druids. We'll have to find that one out in a minute. Mollett is involved in that one as Henry Moore gets the run onto the back straight.
Yeah, I think it might have been Ollie Stone, Herman and Tague involved in that. Izzy Matthews also out of the race. Hans Jakob Siversen Mollett also out of the race. Here comes Henry Moore, and it's going to be an important move. Looks down the inside of Leo Brown, who's trying to hold himself around the outside of Hawthorns. Back into the slipstream, though, of Danny Moreno. And things are starting to look a little darker for Henry Moore in the title race. A big gap appearing between Danny Moreno and Remy Gilbert. Could Henry Moore find his way through before it's already basically done?
And the issue is he can't let the gaps get big. Every failed move is a bit of a problem. We saw this a couple of races ago, which is how he lost all of the points in the reverse grid race at Zandvoort, and he's going to get stuck. Fortunately, there's only a couple of drivers. Brown goes wide, though. Surely this has got to be an open door for Moore. He's going to have to do a send like we saw Gilbert do. Just one lap ago. Unfortunately, he's on the outside, the opposite of where Gilbert was. He's going to try and get the up and under, get the run up towards Druids. This could be important for his championship.
But every time they go through Paddock Hill, it's actually quite easy to defend into Druids, and he can't get too aggressive as Gergo Bowdy. I want to correct myself. I didn't say it was Gergo Bowdy in the open lap. It was actually Jonathan Riley, who's actually had a solid round this evening. But Gergo Bowdy is the one trying to go for the move here in the Scuderia Ferrari HD Esports team on Noah's Boulderstone, who's had a cracking start to this race at the 7th position. But for Henry Moore, like you say, he needs to find a way past on Leo Brown. The problem is those gaps are growing. For Remy Gilbert, he's 7/10 clear of Danny Moreno. Now, for Henry Moore, to get through on Leo Brown is difficult. To then close his way up to Danny Moreno and find his way through is difficult. To find his way up to his teammate, Remy Gilbert, and through, and on Janae as well, and get the fastest lap in 16 minutes and 15 seconds, that sounds almost impossible, but not completely.
So let's say Janae still wins the race, Moore overtakes Gilbert, they come second and third, he'd still lose by 2 points. So he needs to then obviously win the race and get past Janae. So basically it's a win or bust from this situation with where Gilbert has positioned himself. But look at the gaps growing, and Gilbert is getting very, very close. He might be getting the lead very shortly up the inside. We know he likes his position. He's done it before already, and he goes to the front. Janae doesn't even defend that one. So Gilbert takes the race lead, and could that be the championship decided?
Looking for 24. Oh, gets out of his contact, and Remy Gilbert has been sent by Giles Janae off into the gravel, and that will swing the championship wide open. A costly mistake from the Frenchman, and Remy Gilbert, wow, his heart will be in his hands. It is going to slip through his fingers after a costly error from Janae.
Wow. Janae not defending it into T1, but then slamming the back of him into T2. Crazy stuff here at the front as Danny Moreno for TC Esports. He's got the fastest lap, and he now takes the race lead.
Yeah, I've got to say this. That's terribly disappointing, unfortunately. What a bittersweet way for this season to end. I tell you, someone who else won't want to see that, Henry Moore. Sure, he wants to win the World Championship, the British F4 Esports Championship here. That's not how you want to win it, though. Let's see if maybe there was connection or something in there. We'll give Giles Janae something in there. No, he just completely misses his breaking point. Straight into the rear end of Remy Gilbert. A slam dunk penalty, which means that Janae definitely ain't winning this race.
I tell you what, though, because Janae was so kind in T1, Gilbert didn't think to defend at all. I reckon if he actually defended, this wouldn't have happened. He thought, oh, he's never coming down the inside of me. So they were being too nice to each other. If they were being more aggressive, they would have actually been okay. That is a very interesting, awkward situation. But as you say, Janae definitely not going to be winning this race, whatever happens with that one. So Moore still sits in 4th place. As we stand, there is 14 points now the way of Henry Moore. It is not over, though. That could easily happen to Henry Moore. He could easily make a mistake, and Gilbert could come back up. He's only 4 seconds behind.
Yeah, Remy in what I'm sure will be a lightly damaged car. I actually don't think there'll be too much on that, because it was a relatively tight, light tap. He can still work his way into the top 10 and make it 24 consecutive top 10 finishes, which would be very impressive. And like you say, you just don't know what happened. But look at what's happened since that has occurred. Henry Moore is sitting a little bit further off the back of Giles Genet. He's comfortable ahead of Augustin Torlashi. I actually reckon that Henry Moore is going to sit there and be like, hey, if we can increase the checkered flag on this, boys, I'll be pretty happy.
I mean, it makes his day easier, but the more that he backs off, the more Torlashi is going to get close, and the more pressure is going to be on him. Because sometimes in these races, you actually have to be aggressive, just like what I was saying with Gilbert and Genet. You actually have to be aggressive to get yourself out of these awkward situations. Up towards the front, though, Moreno defending for the lead. He gained it a lap ago, and he might lose it one lap after, as Leo Brown is coming for another race victory this season. Big defense to the inside there, as we get a concertina effect, but no contact this time.
As things stand, as things are currently running in this race, with 4th place for Henry Moore, it would be 542 points and the championship. 528 for Remy Gilbert in 13th position, who could technically work his way up to score some pretty healthy points. He was only 4.7 seconds off of the race lead, and I'm sure there's going to be more drama coming. This race is not done yet, let me tell you that, and that's even before Henry Moore starts getting aggressive and finding his way through. We got a look back here to Will Chadwick and Iggy Smith, Pablo Espez as well, for the battle for 2nd position in the team's championship. It would definitely be going the way of TC Esports at the moment. Danny Moreno and Augustin Torlashi in 1st and 5th position. There comes a look, and there comes a send. Iggy Smith off the road. There's an extra position for Remy Gilbert to pick up.
Oh my word, this race does not stop with the action out there on the circuit. It's such a frantic racetrack, and these drivers want to get every final point that they can. We already have 5 DNFs from this race already that we didn't really talk about because of all the action that we had up the front. Less than 12 minutes remain. Moreno still leading out the front. TC Sports looking almost slam dunk now to get 2nd place in the Constructors. What a result that would be for them, and finishing the race, finishing the season with a race win would be so good for them. But Leo Brown is coming. He's getting the run. No, not quite enough to look this time.
12 points now separates 1st and 2nd in the Drivers' Championship. And look, I've not seen Remy Gilbert's car driving around. If he's able to hold 4.7 seconds up to our race leader, if he's able to run the same pace as our race leader, because that gap's barely changed, clearly the car ain't that bad. I'm sure there is some damage on it. I'm sure it is not great. These cars are relatively fragile, and yet in the same way, they're a bit tanky. It's a very weird juxtaposition for these cars to be in, but that is where we're at. Leo Brown trying to gather this final race victory of the season and find his way onto the top step yet again. It will be his 3rd victory in totality if he's able to find his way through. But yeah, look, I'm sure this is some hard map. There was someone off in the background. It might have just been a bit of dirt being picked up.
Well, this race certainly just keeps on giving. We're almost halfway through. Moreno leads from Brown still. No big moves being made in the background. Genet and Moore staying single file for now. As you say, I think Moore is just taking these points, doesn't want to get involved in this battle, in unnecessary battle, I should say. Genet is slowing down though, Moore pushing him into turn 1, but it's Leo Brown who goes and takes the race lead. Moreno couldn't hold on to it for more than 2 laps. Now, big defense to the inside from Leo Brown, and he's going to be trying to get his 2nd race victory of the season. Number 33 hits the front.
Yeah, the location of Leo Brown's 1st victory in the British Formula 4 Esports Championship is only his 1st race. That was back in Brands Hatch at the start of last season. Of course, the opening round at Brands Indy that year, and of course he was able to take victory for Guild. Now he finds his way back to the front. It's been 2 relatively successful season for Leo Brown. Of course, I know he was looking to fight for the championship this season. He's shown pace of it, but not quite the consistency. It still eludes him a little bit, but he is working on that, and he is getting better as Pablo Espez, fastest lap of the race at the moment, trying to find his way back through on Will Chadwick. 5.1 seconds off of Remy Gilbert. I think now he's dropped out of the slipstream of Connor Jupp. Maybe things aren't looking so good for Gilbert.
Yes. Yeah, basically, you can't really catch up because he's definitely going to have damage on that car. There's a huge train up ahead of him, though, so if he does get onto the back of that with some battles up ahead, he has half an opportunity. But realistically, even if he gets on this train, the best he's going to get is P8, because then there's another gap between Baldy and Chadwick, so that's not ideal. He needs to get closer, and let's see what it's going to be this time around. Henry Moore does go for the move up the inside of Genet. This is going to be for 3rd position on the road. If he can get the move done, he's going to be a little bit tense now because Genet was the one who hit his teammate. Hopefully that doesn't happen once again, but Moore is looking racy. He doesn't want to get caught up with Torlashi in behind.
Could you imagine if he does? That would be absolutely mental, by the way. But Charles Genet now off the podium, a podium which he would not have finished on in the overall race results anyway. But either way, Henry Moore is working his way up. I mean, look, what a way to take a double victory if Henry Moore was able to do so. I mean, be pretty happy with that one, but I'm still sure it will be a bittersweet feeling for Moore there. But look, the title's the title, and you understand that is how racing goes.
Yes, and even if, as I was saying, Gilbert gets up into 8th position, he'd still lose by 8 points, considering where Henry Moore is. Oh, that's way off wide. They follow each other as Leo Brown is the first one to go off track, and everyone in behind. Oh, that's a terrible run for Moreno as he gets caught up behind Brown, and this is opening up the door to Henry Moore to dive down the inside. That's so close, almost contact between the two, but now Moreno gets the run and she'll take the lead as Leo Brown goes wide.
Yeah, let's see if Henry Moore can find his way through in all this as well. Side by side again on the start finish straight. Obviously too wide directly behind between Genet and Torlashi. A look to the inside going into Paddock Hill Bend. Apex clip from Danny Moreno. Apex clip from Henry Moore. Leo Brown out a little bit wide as he was trying to find his way around the outside of Henry Moore, who's getting himself up into 2nd position. He is in position to win this championship. He is in position to take the title, but can he get another victory? His 11th of all time.
This is absolutely incredible. Just by the way, Gilbert is in the same frame at the back of shot when we get the wider angles. So this is not done if we have some issues for these cars up ahead. There's a big battle to go with less than 7 minutes remaining in the season. But Henry Moore is looking good for a potential race victory as he chases down Dan Moreno, who himself is going for a 2nd race victory of the season after winning back at Thruxton, the 3rd race of the season. So this is, it means a lot to all of these drivers out there for various different reasons, and also TC Sports, 2 cars inside the top 4 as they try to absolutely slam dunk that 2nd place.
Henry Moore's fan base has clearly climbed out of the gutter works. Brendan Lee also keep an eye. I know those two used to race quite a lot in Formula Fords. Alex O'Grady as well, someone who's been racing in GB4, also does race in the FIA Formula 4 Esports Global Championship as well, alongside Henry Moore. He's trying to seal that title as well. Got to be a cracking couple of weeks before Christmas if he's able to do that as well. Could you imagine that? That would be quite the present for Henry Moore if he's able to seal both titles.
Certainly, and not just 2 random titles as well. Yeah. That is certainly going to be an important step in his career as he works his way forward in life. That would be quite something, and also to do it at the same time, not to do 2 like in 1 year, let's say, but overlapping championships. There's a lot of practice, a lot of pressure on yourself, and a lot of setup work behind the scenes. But he and his team, Bennett, are looking very, very good. But he, to be honest, is in a very good position to take this with 5 minutes to go. He has a lot of cars behind him chasing him down, but they're not putting that much pressure on him the last couple of laps. And it is good that Leo Brown is the car behind because, he's probably going to be the nicest of all of the cars as they're pushing wide.
Yeah, they were going a little bit wide there through Westfield Bend. Lewis Werrell also apparently a fan. Apparently a load of these sim racers, they're pretty big fans of Henry Moore. I remember when Lewis Werrell obviously did the UK Formula 4 1600s last year as well. He's a cracking driver in that. Obviously we see him out and about in the world of sim racing and motorsport as well. So there's clearly a few drivers keeping an eye on this battle for the championship and the race lead as well, as Henry Moore tries to find his way through on Danny Moreno. I think that was more just getting out the slipstream to not go for a move into T1.
Absolutely, they're trying not to sort of get caught up with each other, but look at the train of cars that is forming. We're seeing Gogo Baldi now on the back of this 7-car train to the front. Will Chadwick is doing his best to try and get and close that gap, but they need some battles ahead because it's 1.5 seconds. Actually, Remy Gilbert is on the back of that 2nd train now. He's less than a second behind jump, so he is getting the slipstream. But back to the front, Henry Moore wants to get a double victory to end the season. This is such a good opportunity with only the 5-car reverse grid, but let's see if he can do it.
We're 4 minutes away from crowning our champion. At the moment, it is Henry Moore. He is in position to do so. Again, it might not have been the way that he wanted to do it, but at least stealing victory away will make that bittersweet feeling just that bit more sweet. It's been an epic drive and an epic season from Henry Moore. For Team Bennett, the title went their way a fair while ago, as has been the domination of the top 2 in the championship race. Both teammates for Team Bennett and an excellent team that has been pieced together by Seb Hawkins. He's been a great team manager for this duo, for also including the drive lounge bunch as well. And this would be the cherry on top of the cake. 3 laps away from the final checker flag in the British Formula 4 Esports Championship. And that slipstream's being picked up. Danny Moreno in position for victory, but I get the feeling it's not going to be an easy 3 laps around Brands Hatch.
Look how many cars there are in these shots. It's such a close battle out there on the track. This is not a couple, 3-4 drivers pulling away at the front consistently. There's so many different teams, there's so many different drivers, and what a close battle we're having to round out this season. There's battles up ahead of Gilbert as well with Jupp and Murdoch. That is going to bring Gilbert back into play, but for the race lead, Moreno holds on once more. Moore gets close. He's almost on the back gearbox there of Moreno, but he's not going for the move just yet.
Back gearboxes, front noses. God, you don't. There's only one gearbox as a car. There's only one nose as well. It's fine. I'll let you off. You've got 2 minutes left of the season. Down the hill they go. Remy Gilbert could steal away a top 10 here, and continue the 24 consecutive top 10s that he's got in this championship. 8 from last season, looking to make it 16 from 16 in this season. 2 laps left to go. White flag being prepared. Danny Moreno in search for his second victory of 2025 in the British Formula 4 Esports Championship. Henry Moore looking for glorious number 7, looking to go back-to-back, looking to sweep the round here in the season finale.
And it's a big defence there from Moreno. He does not want a late send. 2 of the 7s, he's cast 77 as well, so that would be quite something, but he's got to find his way through Moreno, who's been looking so strong. I mean, this season in general himself, he's had 12 top 10 finishes, 4 on the podium, 1 included a race victory. He's had a solid season, but he's got a lap and a half to hold on. Henry Moore, he's actually slightly getting out of the slipstream there, almost trying to not get too close. And he's so lucky that it's Leo Brown, the car in behind. If it was Torlashi, he'd be under such extra pressure, but this is a perfect opportunity to try and slide his way through. Gilbert is getting involved. He's already got 1 position for P11. He could be able to get P10.
Yeah, I'm willing him on. I want to see that top 10. I want to see that streak continue. We'll see if Remy Gilbert is able to do so. Henry Moore, though, look, if he gets back-to-back victories here, if he sweeps the round, it'll be the first time that a driver has swept the round since all the way back in 2023. I think it was November 2023. Not Hill, Gordy Much. That was the last time someone took both race victories on a given round. Let's see if Henry Moore is able to do so. Onto the start-finish straight they go, and 3.9 final kilometres left on the calendar. 1 final lap at Brands Hatch to settle this thing then. And Danny Moreno is our race leader. Henry Moore keeping him very close for company. And there comes a move to the inside from Leo Brown. Full send for the Drive Lounge Racing driver. I think that might settle things for the race victory.
Yes, I was going to say Henry Moore didn't do anything to go up the inside of Moreno. I was just thinking in my head, that's going to open up the doors to Brown, and it certainly was. But as you say, all that's done is let Moreno get away up ahead. Neither of these guys require a race victory, but of course, they want to do that. But now Torlashi is getting close to Leo Brown as well. We work our way up towards Hawthorne, and Moreno leads by 0.4 of a second.
Remy Gilbert, by the way, is in 10th position. He's found his way past Connor Jupp and is able to get inside the top 10, able to try and continue this streak. As much as it'll be disappointing, that is some achievement considering what happened. Few corners left to go. Danny Moreno is looking like he's going to take victory here, and it looking like it's going to give him 3rd in the championship as well. A great drive from Danny Moreno to take his 2nd victory of 2025. We do have to take a moment to see Henry Moore through the final corner. Our 2025 British Formula 4 Esports champion will be Henry Moore for Team Bennett. An epic drive for him this season, the driver that leads in so many records. Will lead one more as well. He becomes our 3rd different champion in 4 years. A superb performance after a 19-point deficit. He has a 17-point lead. Absolutely incredible. Remy Gilbert, I mean, you can imagine how disappointed he will be. A great drive up to 10th position, a great drive to recover that and to continue the top 10 streak. But bitter disappointment after contact between himself and Charles Genet.
What a battle this season has been between Moore and Gilbert. And Henry Moore, with 6 victories, will take the championship. But as you say, such disappointment for Remy Gilbert. Good thing, though, he kept his top 10 streak going. But unfortunately, it didn't end the way. And Danny Moreno, by the way, with taking victory, also sneaks 3rd place in the championship by 4 points ahead of Matt Caruana. So it was actually an important one, because if he finished 2nd, he would have been 4th in the championship.
Indeed. Well, let's take a look at provisional results then of our final race of 2025. Danny Moreno with moving up to 3rd in the championship with that victory as well. Superb performance, 3/10 clear of Henry Moore, our champion of 2025. Leo Brown in 3rd position, Augustin Tolashi, Gilles Genet, who is in 5th position. Doubt he'll stay there though after contact between himself and Remy Gilbert. It'll be Noah Balderson, Gogo Baldi, Pablo Espes, Will Murdoch, and Remy Gilbert, the top 10. We'll catch up with a few of these drivers in due course, of course. Connor Jupp then in 11th position. Will Chadwick in 12th. Disappointing day for Jaime Setups by EMM. Still some solid drives coming in from Will Chadwick, but still not enough to get them 2nd in the team's championship. Shomi Shintani in 13th with Iggy Smith, Diana Perez, Alexander Strabel, Corioline, Anna Maria Di Pasquale, Archie Heron, and of course Jonathan Riley, who was sent off on the opening lap of the race. Still solid to get to the checker flag. And a retirements though. Ryan McAuliffe for the Aztec Racing team, Pedro Silva, Kieran Harding, Ollie Stone, Nathan Tague, Hans Jakob Siversen Mollap, Lucas Herman, and Izzy Matthews. All retirements from the season finale. Well, with all that done, we're awaiting Danny Moreno to join. But I think whilst we wait for Danny Moreno to... Actually, you know what? He's just joined. I was going to drag in Henry Moore, but I am going to start, as we should, with Danny Moreno. Excellent drive. Superb victory, Danny. What a season it has been for you as a driver and for the team in general. You, as a driver, you finished now in 3rd position in the Drivers' Championship. As a team, 2nd as well. 676 points to the team. Almost 100 clear of Jaime Setups by EMM. This is a great success of a season, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a massive success. Obviously, coming into this round, I wasn't really expecting to get that many points to fight Matt, that unfortunately he couldn't be here. But yeah, got a good result in race 1, managed to get the win in race 2, and somehow ended up P3 in the championship. So really happy for that. I'm just looking. Sorry, I'm just looking at the stream. I'm a little bit sweaty.
Yeah, no, I can imagine. It's been a tough race. You had Henry Moore all over the rear end in that race. I mean, let's roll the brain back to the start of the season. I remember that opening round at Donington Park, and we were like, "Wow, TC Esports, they're here to really fight with this." And you've kept that up all season. Both you and Augustin also finishes 7th in the championship. It's been a really good season for you, not just you as a driver, but you as a team. It's been very successful. How does it feel, and what's that been like behind the scenes?
Yeah, it feels amazing. Honestly, I don't think I could get any better team or any better teammates than what we have in this team. I think the key to this success has been that we've always worked really closely together as a group, as friends, and Agustin and I have been practicing for every race for like 3 days, 4 days. So obviously that helps a lot to find the pace. Obviously, we're lacking a little bit of pace overall with Henry, Remy, Leo Brown. I think those are the fastest guys. But yeah, when it's a race, when you get that many races, obviously you gotta use your head as well. And I think we have a solid racecraft. Maybe we lack a little bit in qualifying, but in the races, I think we do pretty well. So yeah, really happy for it.
And TC Esports, of course, a pretty new organisation, generally speaking, in the world of sim racing. Obviously, there's been some big steps taken over what feels like for the entirety of 2025, whether it's in this competition, elsewhere in the world of sim racing. What's that been like to see from inside the organisation, to see the team grow and prosper, not just here, but basically everywhere?
Yeah, I think it's been interesting because at the beginning, obviously, I come from F1 Esports. So this was kind of a, let's say, a risky project. I'm not sure if risk is the word, but obviously the team at the beginning, we barely knew if we had drivers. We had to sign drivers. We had to start working together as a team. And now it's going crazy. Like, we are all over the place. in real life as well. So I think it's great for the team, and I just think it's gonna keep growing. So it's so good to be a part of this team.
Well, Danny, best of luck in future. Hopefully we'll see you back in 2026 because it's been an epic 2025. Thank you so much. Third in the championship and a race victory as well in the season finale.
Thank you very much.
There we go. Danny Moreno. Now we'll be joined by the big man himself. It is champion of British Formula 4 Esports. It is Henry Moore. Another podium. You had that victory earlier on in the night. Obviously, there was some big drama there for Remy, but you still did the work. You still got yourself onto the podium. Still a solid evening, and what an epic way to end this night. What's the thought process like for you at the moment? I mean, put it into some words.
I actually can't believe it, to be honest. I felt like after last year, if I didn't win it this year, I wouldn't have been too pleased. Obviously, it's a massive shame what happened to Remy. It's really bad, but I can't believe it's finally happened.
It's obviously a tough championship to win. I mean, last season it was difficult against Graham and a tough one to swallow. And to come into this season, obviously, all the hype and talk pre-season was about you coming on to win this championship. I'm sure there was an awful lot of pressure coming into the season. And Remy really stepped up and took it all the way to the end. How difficult is that to fight as a driver? All the emotions and pressure of being one of the expected drivers to fight for this championship, and then to fight your teammate who seems to have come up to a completely different level.
I think Remy sort of showed what he can really do. He's always been an incredible driver. I mean, the testing that we do, obviously at Team Bennick and Drive Lounges, it's unbelievable. We push each other so hard. We're so close on pace. But yeah, it was difficult for sure. I think coming into the season, as you say, it was a lot of sort of about, am I going to win it? And after round one, it felt like it was going my way. But then after round two, I just couldn't hook it up in quali for whatever reason. I think I've shown I can do it elsewhere at the moment. It's just when I get in these sessions, I just can't do the second lap in quali at the minute. But I've showed my racecraft as well. Obviously, last year I won more from pole. This year, not so much. I still got 2 poles, but I've had to work for it a bit harder. And obviously, I think I got 6 wins this year. So
yep.
So yeah, I'm over the moon, to be honest.
Yeah, 6 wins this season, 10 in total. Number 1 on the all-time winners list. You're up there when it comes to podiums as well. Top 10s. You are topping a lot of record sheets, and you are now a champion. I'm sure we'll be talking about you in a few moments' time with your team boss as well. But for now, go and have a breather and get yourself ready for, of course, the F4 FA Global Esports Championship. And that's going to be another one to deal with. Henry, congratulations. You are our champion.
Cheers, guys. Maybe see you next year.
Hopefully so. We'll drag in Leo Brown, though, of course, our Drive Lounge race driver, finished in 3rd position in the race. Before we'll catch up with Seb Hawkins as well. Leo, another podium for you to have ticked off there. Back-to-back podiums. Couldn't quite steal away the race victory. But you definitely gave it a go on Henry there late on. What was that race like for you? Because it seemed absolutely mental.
Yeah, first of all, obviously I feel so bad for Remy and what happened there. Yeah, that's absolutely awful for him, and yeah, it's really sad to see, to be honest with you. I thought that was a really good battle all year between the two of them, but yeah, from my standpoint, I thought he had some really good pace there. Got past Danny a nice time, and then yeah, with me and Danny, whatever it was, touched some dirt, some gravel or whatever, both went off ourselves, and then it took a few laps for a few corners, for the grass to clear off the tyres, and by that point I had a train of cars coming past me, unfortunately. So yeah, made the best of a bad situation on that corner. And then obviously I'm mindful of Henry's sort of standpoint in the championship, but I want to give it a go. I wanted him to have a go for the lead, but yeah, I completely understand from a sensible point of view why he didn't there. So Yep, another podium. Shame the season isn't starting now, I think, for me. I've just warmed up about 8 rounds in.
Yeah, well, we'll have to make it a 16-round championship next year. It is actually one of those ones. It's very interesting. This is the first time that you finished on podiums in both races in a given round. Obviously, you have had 9 podiums, so 7 before this round, but this is the first time you finished on both podiums of the race. Anything different for you this round, or is it that just kind of how it's just unfolded for this? You got some good pace around Brands. You proved that at Brands Indy in the opening race you ever did in the championship when you took that victory.
Yeah, I think it's a mix of liking the track and also being in the right place at the right time. As we unfortunately saw with Remy there and stuff like that, you can just be on the end of the bad luck sometimes. And yeah, I don't wish that upon anyone. And I think this year I have been on the end of a bit of bad luck. But yeah, nice to be on the podium, I guess. Just got to go a couple better next time. But yeah, fantastic season. Thank you to Benick and Drive Lounge for allowing me to drive for them as well. All our partners as well. So I think it's been a mega year on the whole, especially for Team Benick winning the team's championship by that margin. It's yeah, pretty special.
Yeah, it certainly has been a special year, and you've been a big part of that. Leo, thank you so much for joining us here once again in our season finale, and a great drive on to a double podium.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Now, one final person to talk to here. We aren't going to get Remy Gilbert, and I completely understand. If I were him, I would not be around. I wouldn't want to talk, so I am not going to pressure that at all. But we are going to speak to Team Benick team manager, Seb Hawkins, who joins us after an incredible season. Of course, a bittersweet finale there for Remy. Still did a great drive to make it 24 consecutive top 10, by the way, which is mental. Henry Moore winning the Drivers' Championship for you. What has this season been like for you, Seb? Because it seems as though the team's been running at a completely different level to the rest of the field.
Yeah, firstly, hello, and yeah, well done for also getting through the season. I think the heart rates have been absolutely through the roof, and certainly today. Yeah, I mean, I've got to give it to these boys. These boys work tirelessly every single week, flat out, every single hour of free time they've got, properly just giving everything they can do. It's a difficult world, this sim racing, that we love and enjoy, and definitely when we're looking at a tenth of a second between P1 and P2, it's not something that they're just sort of like I would do accidentally find the lap time. It's calculated, it's mentality, it's ensuring that they execute everything they've been doing in testing, whether it's wet, whether it's dry, you name it. And across them all, they've done a fantastic job. And I think going into this round with the team championship wrapped up, it was just the perfect scenario for us. Let the boys battle it out for the championship, and I think on both Henry and Remy's side of things, they both deserved that championship, and if we could give it to them both, I would love to, because they've shown over the last few years. Certainly, Remy's been in rosters of mine for a long time, and was a talent that we picked up and brought him to F4, and he did a fantastic job. Henry came through the ranks and has been an absolute hero, and so close last year to it. So both of them fantastic. I mean, such a shame to see Remy completely wiped out in that first, in that last race. I mean, for us, it's not the way we want to see it at all. But I wanted to see it go down to that last lap, even if it would have scared the life out of me. But yeah, I mean, look, congratulations to Henry, and we as a team have done everything we could do to put them in the position they could be in this round. And yeah, super happy with their performance.
Yeah, I'm sure fingernails not looking so great on your side after what's been an epic year. But let's obviously, before I let you go, let's talk about the team in general. Obviously, Team Benick, new to the world sim racing. Obviously, you built Guild basically from the ground up here in sim racing, and now it's changed to basically be a different team in Team Benick and Drive Lounge. Obviously, the carryover of Henry Moore, of Remy, of Leo into that as well. You've built a very strong team, and I'm sure that's the same outside of just here in British F4 Esports. How tough is it to build that kind of team? How tough is it to kind of see them all battle and sometimes being like, oh, I don't know which way this is going to go? I mean, what's that like on the build up to a race day?
Yeah, it's I've built a lot of rosters in my time doing stuff with teams, and I think you know sometimes you just find the team that click. And I think probably the most important aspect, while they're all individually talented, is that they all get on so well. I mean, I think they spoke about it in their interviews, but they work together so closely, and we've had some come-in-togethers, we've had some moments between sister teams and bits and pieces, but we've resolved them. We debrief, we go through stuff, we learn from it, we push and push and push, and I think that's it. It's a family. It was the same thing with Guild last year, and it was the same thing this year. It was really important to me to retain this roster and keep them together, because without each other they don't push each other, and I think that's a really, really important thing, especially when you're grinding so hard in this world. You've got to keep each other on their toes, and that's what they do. Leo did a fantastic job. We've got to shout out Kieran as well. Kieran joined the roster as part of the Drive Lounge side of things, working through a competition in person with Drive Lounge, getting a seat, throwing himself into the deep end, and again giving it every single thing he could do. And the boys also were really open-armed to bring him in, let him join, let him learn, and I think that's really empowering. And certainly these drivers are going through that age of life where they're also maturing as adults. They're not the young Henry Moore anymore. It's the one that's looking to be out driving in real life and all this stuff. So it's exciting. It's a really exciting period of their life, and I wish at my age I was up there competing for the F4 Championship, right? So super impressive, and again it's a testament to their ability, their skill, their teamwork, and just the atmosphere that we create at Bennick as well. And I'm really looking forward to seeing them compete in more stuff.
Seb Hawkins, team manager of Team Bennick, 8 wins, 23 podiums, 1,085 points. The first team to break the 1,000-point barrier here in British F4 Esports. Thank you so much for joining us. Big congrats to you and the team. Pass it on, and of course, let's see if at least Remy can have a nice evening, at least away from all of this.
Yeah, absolutely. Cheers, chaps.
There we go. Seb Hawkins in the interview booth. We'll bring it back over to Cam. That's it. It's over. Season is done. What have you made of this one before we let everyone go?
Well, to be honest, just the stats is probably the biggest thing, because one quite interesting fact. So Moreno, in the end, had 2 race victories. Remy Gilbert had 2 race victories, and Caruana had 3. So Gilbert, obviously, he had the consistency this season, but he did only get those 2 wins, and that's probably where he was lacking, especially with Henry Moore. He had a retirement, a 0-point race, and he still won the championship. So maybe that's just something for Gilbert to try and focus on. Obviously, he's got the consistency, now level up in terms of the race results.
Yeah, indeed. Well, that's been an epic season, of course. We've had epic champions crowned here in the UK Formula Ford 1600s and British Formula 4 Esports Championship. Of course, Croft and Woodhatch at the UK Formula Ford 1600s. We've got Henry Moore here, Team Bennick, also winning the Team's Championship. Remy Gilbert does walk away with some prizes, though, courtesy of the BPS Pole Position Award. It has been an epic season, though. We'll be back, though, in 2026. I am absolutely sure this championship will be moving into its 5th year, and I'm sure it'll be yet another epic ride. For myself, Liz McVeigh, from Cameron Roger, from Hugo Luis, who's been bringing us the broadcast all season, and even from that cheeky Northerner who made a couple of round cameo earlier on in the season in Ewan O'Leary. Thank you so much for joining us here in the British Formula 4 Esports Championship. It's been a superb season, and we'll see you again next year.